Sotomayor. We're going to be discussing Black women and weaves, and does it mean that Black women are not actually proud of being Black because they wear weaves, or can you be pro-Black and still wear a hair weave?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
You be pro-Black and.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
You be pro-Black and.
Where the hell is all this shit coming from? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
You be pro-Black and.
Is that coming from your computer? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
You be pro-Black and.
Here's your computer. Computer. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
You be pro-Black and.
Here's your computer playing the show back. Computer. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
You be pro-Black and.
Here's your computer playing the show back. Computer.
No, I'm not watching the show.
Welcome to the ladies and gentlemen. It's weird that it's playing then.
You be pro-Black.
Let's see. What just happened? Now I gotta find you again. Y'all, I'm professional as hell today, so just pay me no attention. Apparently, this just a day for dumb crap. But looks like we're live. Looks like we're ready. So hello, everyone, and welcome to the show that's like 45 minutes out. If you live in Dallas, Texas, and you'd like to come see me live, there are tickets left. You can buy some tickets to see the show. Go to the website or go to the link in the description box to pick up some tickets to see me live in Dallas, Texas. First part of the tour that's coming up this year. Make sure you come out and see me if you're in Dallas. I look forward to seeing you. Guys, we're about to have a discussion, and the number is scrolling across your screen. It's 213-943-3362. And I brought a young woman on the show who's been on here a couple of times before, and she wears weaves, so she's going to tell us about how great the weave is that's on her head right now.
Shut up. I do not wear weave. Don't listen to him. He knows this is my hair.
Look, I don't know. I have not rooted you yet. I would have to.
Oh, here, let's root me for the show. Hold on. This is my hair.
That is an awesome. That's an awesome lace front. That is a nice one. Good, full front. And all right. Well, okay. Now let me ask you something. And a serious question from me to you. What is women's like? Why do they love weave so much? What is it about them? What is it about them and their weave? Why?
I think it varies based on the woman. There's a woman here on YouTube named Sister with Real Hair. She has hair, natural hair, and she's not mixed, down to her butt. And she wears wigs and weave. And then there are women who literally have no hair that wear wigs and weaves. So I think for each Black woman, at least, it varies. I think some women truly don't like their hair. I know some Black women who have said that they just don't have good hair, whatever that's supposed to be. And things like that. So they won't grow their hair out. They need a weave or they need a relaxer, things like that. So I think for some women, they really have a problem with the hair that's growing out of their head. And for other women, like I said, Sister with Real Hair, who literally has hair down to her butt, she's just doing it for a style. So I think it varies on the woman.
Isn't it sad though? And for you people over on YouTube, I know many of you are wondering, why is it that the comment section isn't open? Well, it's not open because you guys refuse to click the like button, and I don't play that mess anymore. Never mind then. Apparently y'all learned from not having it damn open, because they click the hell out of the like now. Because I've had to tell these people, click the like, click the like, click the like. And so the rule of thumb is this. If I have more than 50% likes over people who are watching, I will open up the chat room. If I do not, I will close it. Now, what you guys are seeing on the screen are the people over on the website, because they pay. So there it is. Hello, guys. Another way to keep the comment section over on YouTube, you know, that thing that y'all really don't like doing, and that's clicking that donate button. But I have to make sure that I give the people who pay to watch my website something, and they're over there enjoying it. And the great part about it is, no, the website is way better. Thank you, Andrew. The website is way better. And We can play all kind of music and stuff over there, so we can have fun. But when it comes to this weave thing, women are really serious about it. Like they cannot not wear it. Like you will see black women, they have to have it. And you said the fact that this girl named her YouTube channel Sister with Real Hair, doesn't that say a lot that she had to name it that?
Yeah, actually, she talks about that on her channel. She says that she did that because people would approach her and ask if it was her hair. And this was before it was as long as it is now. Same thing with me. I get accused of wearing a weave a lot. And I think that is because, not because Black women can't grow hair necessarily, but because when we do grow hair, it looks shorter because it's curly. Because Black women will wear weave and then it damages their natural hair. So then where they would have been able to grow hair, often they can't. So yeah, what we're presenting as, and a lot of people don't like when I say this. I know where I'm from, lots of Black women have long hair. Most Black women have natural hair. But overall, I think what we present as is that we don't grow our hair long and we don't wear our own hair. And definitely here in Texas, most of the Black women I see are wearing fake hair.
And it's like all over the United States. I did a series yesterday where I was talking about these women in this paternity court. And I showed them all. And one of the Black women actually talked about her own child. And she said, my child has good hair. She don't have nigger hair, on national TV. And Black women say these things proudly. Black women love to play in brand newborn babies' hair. Black women probably tell you about your kids and talk about how beautiful their hair is. Isn't it strange to watch a group of people obsess over hair? And maybe you can explain to me, why is it they obsess over hair that looks like someone else?
Yeah, I think this is something that we can really focus on in the Black community, but I definitely think as a result of what is often perceived, and I think a lot of this is perception and not so much execution in a lot of places, perceived to be more attractive. Black women believe that it's European hair. What they don't realize is every group of women has something about them that makes them particularly beautiful and unique. Asian women are very petite, and that is something that's beautiful about them.
Mexican women are shaped like little refrigerators.
Yeah, but they are kind of squarish, but they often have, physical traits that are attractive. Black women have very shapely bodies, and actually our hair is very it's very beautiful. It's very exotic. It's something that makes us unique as a culture and stand out as a people. It's our identifiable trait other than our skin, because lots of people have brown skin, but not a lot of people have woolly hair. But unfortunately, we don't, for whatever reason, in mass, see ourselves in our natural state as beautiful. And so we augment ourselves to look like women that we believe have a beauty that's preferred instead of embracing our own beauty. And I think what frustrates me the most isn't even necessarily weave as much as when it's blonde, as much as when it's like so the complete opposite of anything. And I know there's going to be that 5 people that are like, but what about the kids in, Papua New Guinea and stuff like that, who naturally do have, and I have a sister who has dirty blonde hair too, but I don't. And she's an anomaly in our family. I mean, it's a lot like she didn't naturally pop out that way for the most part. So I think, I don't know. I feel really torn on this subject because I know every Black woman that's wearing weave doesn't hate herself, but y'all, I honestly know those women who won't go outside. I've met them without weave in their hair. And I think in that sense, it's healthier for them to just back away from the weave. And
here's the thing. You have terms that don't exist in other cultures, like traction alopecia or my edges are gone. So these women are doing something that's damaging themselves. So let me ask you, why do you think they're willing to risk getting rid of their own hair? I know, or I have a thought. Why do you think they're willing to risk losing their own hair?
Yeah, I think honestly, it reaches a point with weave that they realize that their hair has gone so far. I feel like the first time a Black woman wears weave, it's like, oh, I can make my hair look longer or fuller or something like that. I think once you start wearing weave and it damages your hair, then it goes, well, I can't turn back because now the weave looks better than my own hair. And then I think it reaches a point where they literally stop caring about their own hair. I've seen, and you guys can attest to this if you've seen it, Black women just pull the tracks out, just rip them out of their hair when they were, and I'm just like, do you want hair? Do you know that ripping sound is your hair? They just reach a point where they just don't care anymore because they've even come to a decision that they're not going to show or care for their hair. And a lot of Black, women and men might point out the fact, well, this is so expensive to get done and this and that, but it's not these women who are going to the salon and paying $1,000 for weave that are the majority. It's these women that are gluing hair onto their hair in their homes, who have the local girl that does the weave doing their hair, that make up the majority of Black women in our community that are wearing weave, which is why I think it's so destructive. I think it's disingenuous to point out the one chick with all the money who can go get that $1,000 weave every other month and pretend like that is how all Black women wearing weaves move, because that's just not the reality.
Now, I love it when women say this, and the reason I say they don't care about their traction alopecia and all of that other crap is that they don't care about their hair. So you alluded to it. And I say they don't like their hair so much, they don't mind losing it. If you cared about your hair, that would be problematic for you to lose it. Now, you hear these women say, well, I wear weaves to grow my natural hair. But I find that disingenuous. Let me ask you ladies a question who are out there. And to the people over on YouTube, I see that you slack now that I've opened the chat room back up. By not having likes, I will close it. Keep coming in here and watching the show and not clicking like, I will close it and just open it back over and leave it over there. I won't keep playing this. Let me close it. Let me open it. Let me close it. Let me open it. I promise you I won't. All right. But these women will say, oh, I use weave to grow my real hair. But that's funny because the weave looked nothing like your real hair. So why are you using hair that looks nothing like your hair, claiming that it's a protective hairstyle? And if this is a protective hairstyle, whatever happened to back in the old days when Black women didn't need this to protect their hair? When did Black hair need protection? What year was that? Are they protecting it from hair thieves? Are they protecting it from people going around like scalping Black women? Like, I want to know what they're protecting it from. But they will sit there and say, well, here's what we're trying to do. Just grow our hair underneath this hair. So all those women will say, I got a head full of beautiful hair. So I asked them this question, ladies, and I want to ask all of you this question. If you were my girlfriend / wife, and I loved you, and I loved you so much, I do these YouTube shows and stuff, and people be stalking my life. So what I decided to do is get a secondary girlfriend that I can show her in public while I protect you. I love you, but people only see me with her. Let me ask you, Irene, would you go for that?
Well, I wouldn't in the scenario that you in the girlfriend scenario.
Women are saying, but they're saying I'm protecting my hair by always hiding it. Do you know I've dated a girl and have been her friend for a total of 5 years? I had never seen her real hair until a couple, I'd say like a couple weeks ago. So the first time I seen her actual hair in 5 years.
Did she have hair?
It was like at her shoulders.
Well, at least she had some hair.
Yeah, but even underneath there, she had permed the hell out of it so it could match the hair she was sticking in.
Yeah, yeah. Here's the thing. I feel that.
You leave that other stuff alone and talk to me.
I'm sorry. Here's the thing. I'm trying to make myself some mods. Okay, so here's the thing. The thing is this. I think that I don't know where this myth. I don't wear protective styles on my hair, and I know a lot of people are going to attack me and go, "Well, your hair is not super kinky or curly, Irene, or whatever." But everybody in my family has curly hair. And I think that this idea that there's a list of things other than protection, and I don't want to get sidetracked, but the idea that we can't wear our hair, that we can't comb our hair, that we can't wash our hair regularly, these sort of myths that are perpetuated by people who honestly aren't even wearing their hair is very odd to me. You don't know if you can wear your hair out until you try to wear your natural hair and just take care of it. I would say you'll be amazed what, a deep condition every 2 or 3 days and combing your hair daily will do. Like you will find that your hair is actually quite friendly. So this protective styling, I'm not going to disagree with it because like I said, I point to Sister with Real Hair. She's got hair to her butt and she protective styles. But that's not the average Black woman. That's the problem. That's not what Black women are really wearing weaves for in mass. Like that's just,
what does that mean? A protective hairstyle? Like I'm still trying to find out, why would you wear your hair?
Okay.
Like I've seen Black women wear hair that matches their natural hair. I'm all for that.
Right.
I'm not for you wearing a purple wig. I'm not for you wearing a blonde wig and you black as me and you walking around looking like a Duracell battery or a Black and Miles cigar. Like it looks ridiculous. Looks aside, why is it that these women, if they wear protective hairstyles, can't get one that would look like it actually grew out of their head?
Well, I think I can't explain why they choose Brazilian wavy or silky straight. I can't explain that. But what I will say is the argument from women with kinkier hair types is that they have to protect their hair because it is a lot of work to comb it and do it every day. That's very time consuming. And my hair is not very curly and it takes me maybe 5 hours on a wash day. And I do that every 2 to 3 days. So I think there is an argument there. But here's the thing. We're made how we made. Like God made us how he made us. And honestly, rather than cover your hair, and sometimes I think we don't need to do things just for the illusion. Let's say if you really do love your hair. Do you know what I mean? Because it can be misinterpreted, because you're walking out with blonde hair, because you're walking out with silky straight hair down to your butt, because it can be misinterpreted. Sometimes it's better just not to engage in the behavior, especially for those women who, unlike Sister with Real Hair, don't have hair down to their butt, who really are damn near bald and have traction alopecia, to show them that they can too be beautiful and to not make it an anomaly, to know how to take care of Black hair, because we know that this is a problem because we need tutorials on how to do our own hair. That's how infrequently our women are wearing their hair. So I think it starts with having an honest dialogue in the Black community about this and stop pretending and making excuses.
But remember, I've been one of the main people to have that honest dialogue, and I've been called a sellout. And I want you to think about this: a sellout and a coon because you like a Black woman in her natural state. I just want everybody to take that in for a minute. A Black man who says, I like Black women in their natural state, is called a sellout and a coon.
Well, yeah, there's this group of people who just don't like you, Tommy. So it doesn't matter what you say.
No, but it doesn't matter. No, I'm saying before it was a thing. When I was talking about that, it irritated women. It irritated women. Why do you worry about it? Only a gay man worry about a woman's hair. That was the first thing they said. I'm gonna run y'all down the arguments that Black women were making, which make no sense. The first one was only a gay man worries about a woman's hair. The contradictory next one was we only do our hair like that to impress men. So wait a minute, which is it? Is it only a gay man cares about hair, or is it that you do it to impress men? And if you do it to impress Black men, how were you having babies before weaves were big in the Black community? Were Black men not screwing you back then? Was there a time in which Black men stopped screwing Black women? If they did, can someone tell me? If there hasn't been that time, then why are we having this discussion and letting women lie about why they're getting weaves? The truth of the matter is, in my opinion, Black women are insecure. And in their insecurity, what black women are doing is trying to compete with white women. They're jealous of other women. And if you were not jealous of other women, you would not have to do these things because you claim you got a big butt. And I don't remember black women going through butt shaving processes so they can look like the rest of the world. Because it wasn't a thing. It wasn't something they could get done. So what they did was try to force the world that we like big butts. And now they're saying everybody's trying to copy them with big butts. So why is it that black women won't do the same thing when it comes to their hair? Let the world copy you. If you believe you're a queen, and last I checked, the queen has a uniquely identifiable wardrobe and crown, does she not? So if black women truly believed that they were queens, then they would be proud of their uniquely identifiable crown. But instead, they hide it and put on the crown of the peasants. You know how you try to claim white women are peasants? Well, if they're peasants, why do you keep trying to wear hair and have hairstyles that look like theirs? I would love for someone to call into the show. The number's 213-943-3362. I would love for an individual to come into the show, call in, and let me know or let us know what you think about this idea of does wearing weave show that black women are ashamed to be black? And I say yes. What do you say?
I think overwhelmingly, yes. I'm unlike you though. I don't think it's all, but I think overwhelming. I know, but you know I gotta say it.
No, you can't.
Overwhelmingly though.
I know you didn't say it and then say unlike you. You can't say that.
No, I don't mean unlike you.
I'm not eating random women's pussy.
No. I mean you won't say that you mean some, but I want to specify that I don't think all black women think that, but I do think most black women have a problem with their own hair, and that's why they cover it. They genuinely think that they look better with weave in their hair. I honestly believe that. And if you watch just even here on YouTube with some women who are being honest, that are black, who have stopped wearing weave, they will honestly say, I couldn't go out the house without it. I reached a point where I didn't want anybody to see, like they're being honest, you know, and I think we have to deal with the people that are having the trouble, that are having the most trouble with this issue. And that is unfortunately the overwhelming majority of black women. I feel it is a form. I feel it is a form of self-hate, unfortunately. Again, not for all black women, but for most.
Well, it has to be called a form of self-hate. Let me explain. If a man dating outside of his race is considered a form of self-hate, why would then them wearing somebody else's hair not be considered a form of self-hate? Because if I'm dating a white woman, I'm still black. Nothing changed about me at all. I'm just dating this person. When you're doing this to your hair, you see how these women, and I'm not exaggerating, and you can tell me if I am, Irene, they become different people with the weave on than when they don't. For them, it's like a Superman cape. They are more confident. Am I lying?
Okay, here's the thing. I do believe that, and it's not even the weave. I think when women put themselves together in a way that they feel more confident, they carry themselves differently. And I think the change in behavior you're seeing is because for whatever reason, they do feel more confident with that extra layer. It's kind of like women who will never go without makeup. Do you know what I mean? They only feel confident with that extra layer on. Their battle armor. That's what I like to call it. When I put on my makeup and my push-up bra, it's my battle armor, right? But then I think all women aren't super honest to say that. Like, I'm wearing weave because this is where I'm gaining my confidence. And so that's why I think, especially for our young black girls, you know, because my hair is not the curliest. My daughters have wavy hair too, but there is a whole generation of little black girls who are looking at women whose hair doesn't look like theirs. They're looking at their mothers hide the hair that looks like their little hair on their heads under something else. And so I think that it's destructive to our little black girls to see that. if for nothing else, we need to do it for our youth so that they know that we find ourselves beautiful and they have examples of Black women to look at who are representative of actual Black beauty, period. Not just skin color, but our hair and everything that makes us unique. But I feel like a lot of times women get very defensive. And sometimes it's that way, right? When you're doing something and somebody touches on something that's a sensitive subject with you, it's easy to go on the defensive. But I think if we're going to have an honest discussion,
subject, why would it be sensitive if you are so proud of it when you get it?
Well, I think when somebody says, well, you don't like your hair, or if you like your hair so much, why are you wearing that hair? It can make people feel hypersensitive. It can, but the thing is to not get angry about that, but to have an honest conversation. I think something we have a problem with in the Black community is just having an honest conversation about topics, because everybody is quick to defend themselves and not quick to just evaluate.
Nope. I think we have a sacred cow in the Black community. That sacred cow is called Black women, because we can talk about deadbeat Black dads all day. We can talk about gay Black men all day, down low Black men. We can talk about Black men who don't work, Black men who don't know how to whatever. And guess what? We are okay with that. As soon as you question anything a Black woman does, Black women have a thing called swirl movement, where they're openly telling each other, let's go out and get us a white man. And there's nothing wrong with it. Black man just takes an Instagram photo with a white woman. Michael B. Jordan has done nothing, has said nothing wrong. He gets destroyed by Black women just because he was on a boat with white women. That makes no sense to me. It's not fair that you can't criticize Black women. You can't say anything that hurts a Black woman's feelings. And once we have that as a problem, we will never fix things in the Black community, because there's one group of people that's always right. There's one group of people that cannot be questioned. I did a story today about a Black woman who took her kid and basically let her boyfriend screw her kid, who was only 10. She ends up pregnant. The Black woman still protects this child. The Black man got 160 years in jail. The Black woman who did this only got a 20-year sentence, and she'll be eligible for parole in 5 years. The women are not used to having blame put at their feet. And I know you don't like when I do this, but common sense has to be, you can't just keep having separate standards for people and have people being able to get away with certain things. If a Black man walked around with a wig on that looked like Tom Cruise, what do you think they'd say about him?
That looked like Tom Cruise?
Or any white?
No, because what was that one guy? Somebody showed me a picture of this guy who permed his hair, and they like drug him for the
big joke. It was a big joke. His name was Young Jock. That's why I was going to go with this.
Oh.
Young
I don't
Jock,
know his name, but I know that I saw a picture of him, and people were not talking very positively about it.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, how is it that this is somehow a joke, but when Black women do it, it's not a joke? What makes it more of a joke for him to have that kind of hair, but not when they do it? It's the same thing.
Well, I think I don't make a lot of comparisons between men and women, but what I will say is this. I think that women are hypersensitive when you speak on their appearance, because women are defined by how they look. And there is nothing like telling a woman who thinks that she's done something to adorn herself and make herself look better, that she hasn't adorned herself and it doesn't look better at all. I think women become hypersensitive when it is like that. But I think a better thing to do is simply to remove the barrier that makes you feel as if you're less than. Like if you are feeling less than with that weave, and if somebody points it out that makes you uncomfortable, then it might be time to reevaluate wearing that weave and just be at peace with yourself. Get your own hair right. Learn how to be comfortable in that skin for a little bit. And then, you don't have to get hypersensitive when people point it out. But as far as what'd you say his name was?
Young Jock.
Yeah, as far as him, I think anytime a man does a little too much to make himself look pretty, that
Was that a little too much? I mean, why would that seriously? Why would that be considered too much? You can put in just for me or whatever it is in about 30 minutes. You're done. You just said it take you 5 hours to wash your hair.
Yes, he does.
30 minutes versus 5 hours.
Yeah. Well, that's true. And honestly, that hairstyle, wasn't it like it used to be a popular hairstyle back in the day? Men
used to get this thing called a conch. They would put it on their head. That thing that Malcolm X had it.
Oh, so yeah, but I think that, the thing is, because women are defined by their physical appearance, that's probably why the belief is different. Do you know what I mean? And just because
they're defined by their money, so they should go around with fake money.
Oh, see, that's interesting. Yes, I think that if a man was like, let's go out to dinner, and then he went out to pay the bill with a bunch of fake money, and it came out that money was fake, a woman would be very in her feelings. But honestly, even for women, the experience that you have with a man, and I don't know, women who have wore weaves for like a very, very long time and don't wear their natural hair out, they're just intimately, and and I don't just mean sex, but just in situations with their man, like it's nice to be able to get in a shower and not worry about getting your hair wet. It's nice to be able to go swimming. It's nice to be able to engage in intimacy and have somebody touch your hair and you don't have to,
It's nice to be able to lay next to you and not smell like a bunch of socks are in my nose because that weave stink. And those women
are supposed to wash it, Tommy. Like
they can't wash it like that.
They're supposed to wash it.
$100 to get your hair done. You're not gonna wash it, screw it up.
You're supposed to go to the salon and they wash it for you and dry it and stuff. But again, most Black women don't have the money to invest in that. So that's how it should be properly done. But it's important to say that that's not how the average Black woman is not going into the salon every 2 weeks to have her weave tightened and washed and dried.
Black woman is going to her friend next door. That's why why do you think all these, this is what pisses me off when people talk about Black women. We're starting more new businesses than anyone. No, y'all got more weave mobiles than anyone. That's literally where the boom in Black entrepreneurship came from, weave. But nobody will admit that. Nobody will talk about it. It ain't like Black women are owning pharmacies. It ain't like Black women are owning grocery stores. It ain't like Black women are owning IT companies. None of that. It's literally weave. So nothing wrong with it. But when you see that a group of people that are worth $5, Black women in the United States between the ages of 22 and 40 are worth a grand total net worth of $5, because you will see a Black woman, and tell me if I'm lying, who work at Popeyes making $9 an hour, standing right beside a white woman who work at Popeyes making $9 an hour. But the white woman will have her old flat limp hair on her head, and that Black woman will have some kind of weave or wig. So you got to ask yourself, how much of the money she made during the week did she put on top of her head alone? Do you understand that there are women right now online, and I'm not lying, check the facts. It used to be on this thing called Backpage.com. Now they moved over to Instagram when they shut that down. Women are having sex with strange men, prostituting themselves to get their hair fixed.
Oh.
It's a thing.
Oh, it's a thing. Yep. Yeah, I think, again, if you are reaching a point, this is like a PSA. If you are reaching a point where you find that you are prioritizing paying a bill and getting weave, if you find yourself at a point where you're willing to whore yourself out so that you can get a weave, if you find yourself at a point that you are ripping tracks out of your hair with glue on them and then re-gluing them with no care for your hair, if you find yourself at that point, it could be time to just abandon the weave cause. And again, I'm not saying this is all women who wear weave, but what I'm saying is we know that many women move this way, you know?
Man,
And so,
I'm not saying all, and I'm just telling you, and any intelligent people out there who've ever been taking any
you know,
kind of
I like to give the disclaimer though, Tommy, because I'm nicer than you.
no, it's not being nice. What I'm saying is, if you've said it once and you have to keep reiterating it, then that means you're talking to children, number one. But number two, no intelligent people think that you know everybody's thought.
I know. I feel like,
don't think like that. Only idiots think like that. Now I understand that you are catering to a lower vibration audience.
well, no, but here's the thing. Honestly, if we're having this conversation and we want to reach a person who's of that mindset,
but you're not going to reach them if you say not all, because they're going to say good, because that's not me, and then they're going to keep doing what they're doing.
Perhaps, but you know,
I don't understand why y'all say that. Whenever I go around, I say not all black women. Do you understand that damn near every black woman says that's right? He's not talking to me. He's talking to you. Even when I'm talking to them, when you use the phrase not all, everyone joins that side and say, all right, he ain't talking about me. He just said it. When I say black women in general, it hits everyone who it fits. The women, when I say black women and they know it doesn't fit them, they easily say it doesn't fit them. Think about it. If you see a video when they're talking about what black women do and you know you don't do it, are you pissed? No, you're like, I know I don't do that. Yeah. I don't get mad when people say black men don't take care of their kids. I don't have that problem. I understand who they're talking about, though, that there's a high level of them who don't. And I understand that. Black men don't marry these women they have kids with. I understand that. They're not talking about all of them, but it's a huge number. So we shouldn't dedicate our time to talking about the small number that know right from wrong.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, if the
somebody said, address what Virtuous One in your chat room said. It's one of your mods said.
Oh, Virtuous One. Okay, first of all, Virtuous One, I love you. Becky does wear weaves and wigs too. And this is what I will say. The two distinct sort of differences that I find between when people make that argument. First of all, I have seen weaves done on Black women that do fit their natural hair, and they are beautiful. Erykah Badu is a perfect example of a woman who wears a weave that matches her natural hair, and a lot of people thought that was her afro, and it was absolutely stunning. When Becky wears a weave or a wig, first of all, white women typically wear clip-ins, and they're able to do that because the clip-ins match their hair type, so they can clip them in and clip them out. And they also tend to wear hair that is like theirs. And so I guess that would be the main difference. And Virtuous One, of course, I really want to point this out. This is essential, not just for the woman that's wearing the weave, but we have to think of our children that we're raising too, and what we're portraying to them as the standard of Black beauty. And is that standard of Black beauty going to be to emulate or mimic, intentionally or not, another person's beauty, or to embrace our own beauty and carve our unique niche out as Black women? And so I think that's more the question than to compare ourselves to another group of women who are doing something on their side. So that's what I would say, Virtuous, and that was a really good question.
And that was a great answer. I'm glad you didn't pull punches, but you said it a little bit better than me. Now let me say it.
Oh, gosh.
First off, that's an excuse and a cop-out. Second off, that lets me know that you look up to white women, because you damn sure don't hear white women say Black women do it too. You've never heard them say that, because they know they wouldn't set up there and compare themselves to somebody that they know they're better than, Miss Lady. And you're doing a great job over there moderating. But I'm telling you now, what you just said is ridiculous, and it sounds ridiculous, and it sounds like a drug addict who says, I can quit smoking crack anytime I want. What about the guy who smokes coke? What about the guy who does this? Whenever you have to compare yourself to something like that, that lets me know you've lost. Number two, let me explain something to you, ma'am. Would you, an able-bodied person, compare yourself to a retarded person or a handicapped person? Nope, you wouldn't. You wouldn't be in class and say, I made a better grade than that guy in the special ed. That's why white women don't compare themselves to you, virtuous one. You've never heard a white woman ever in the history of man say, black women do it too, because it would be like comparing yourself to a retarded person. The reason you keep comparing yourself to white women, because you look up to them. Because you never talk about how white women don't have kids out of wedlock like you do. You never talk about how whenever you see those women with those clip-ins on, guess what they usually are? On television. And as soon as they get off television, they take it off. But we got black women who barely make enough money. As a matter of fact, I've filmed black women walking down the street who are homeless, but still got a wig and a weave on. Now, how does a homeless woman still need a wig?
Stop. Well, I'm mad because I've seen this.
That's what I'm saying. That's ridiculous. That lets you know it's a psychopathy at that point. When you say, I'm homeless, but I still got to have this luxurious yak on my head. That's a problem.
Yeah, I think that we have to really, I mean, people, I feel like there's a group of people who will feel very like incensed by this conversation, but I think it's really important that the point you made, because I have seen this. I have seen women who may be very much on drugs in San Francisco who will be completely bald, but have like a little weave ponytail, whose clothes are obviously in need of a good washing, who are in need of a good meal. And I've seen them wearing weave. And I think like when we think about how deep the situation has to be for that to be the case, we really, that's all the more reason for Black women not to do it. Like it's just, let's say you're the strongest person and you're not ashamed and you've got a head full of hair and da 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 da. If for nothing else, do it for that lady on the street that's confused. You know what I'm saying? Or that chick that doesn't have the money to go do it right. Like we have to start making moves with like a community view, because at the end of the day, most of our women are coming about this from an unhealthy perspective. And if we care about the community, then we really have to make moves that uplift the weaker ones among us and not make excuses that are going to perpetuate what is clearly an issue with how they feel about their own appearance and their own features. And somebody in my chat said, well, European features are, you know, considered attractive on the whole, but that's the thing. You've got to embrace your own stuff and carve out your own niche. You don't have to emulate another group of people, because then it seems like you have a white superiority complex. Do you know what I mean? So it can read that way, whether you mean it to or not.
But that's why so many Black women are into the whole swirling and interracial dating. That's why they say that's why they cheer another Black woman, because they know their seed at that point will have more desirable skin color, more desirable hair. I think one of the funniest things to me is to watch a Black woman married to a white man and then mix kids, while the Black woman has this big head full of yak and then mixed kid has its own hair. I think that's hilarious, because guess what? Black men don't have that insecurity. We don't, if you feel like European is the standard of beauty, then why don't Black men fall under that? Why is it that Black men aren't trying to look like white men?
Okay, well, I actually can answer that. Because Black men, first of all, other than Asian women, are the most sexualized group on the planet. It's considered attractive to be tall, dark, and handsome. Even in slavery times, you know, Black men were considered to have extra big penises. And you know what I mean?
We're the second most chosen man. We're the second most desired man behind white men. We're number 2. And yet we own nothing in the world.
Yeah, so it's pointless. It's a title that doesn't contribute much, right? But for so I would say that's why Black men aren't trying to, why, when you're already at the top of the barrel. But what I will say about Black women is we sit at the bottom of the barrel in part because we are trying to emulate other people's beauty. Because you're never going to look as good faking somebody else's look as you will look embracing your own look. We'll never look as like we will only look attractive as ourselves.
You must have been listening to me before. I've said, and guys, on my audience, you can tell them how many times have I said you can't out white woman a white woman, just like she can't out black woman a black woman.
Oh, so, no, I haven't heard that, but it's true. It's true. And I think, as far as the swirling thing goes, everybody knows that my first husband was a white man. And I don't believe in promoting that, because people are people. All of my viewers, all my subscribers know that I just believe we're human beings, period, But I think we also cannot ignore that in the Black community, there are some pathologies that we have that need to be addressed before we can even begin to interact with other people in a healthy way. And I think weave is a sort of small example of that. Because we have a pathology in the Black community, we're incapable of even addressing beauty in a healthy way.
Right.
And so we have to address the pathology.
I like it. Hey, you want to go answer some of these phone calls?
Yes, please.
All right. I hate that whatever happened to made your screen go off when it came back on. Your voice is a little bit behind. You're looking rather Japanese right now, but that's okay. No. You don't have to touch any of those things. I was just saying that it's
okay. I won't touch anything.
What happened was it's just thrown the voice and the video off. Whatever happened that made it go off. Whatever happened on your end. That's all. But it's still fine. Let's go to the first phone call. 317. You see what the question is. What are your thoughts about it? Does Black women wearing weave prove that they're ashamed of being Black?
What's up? It's the Elite Class Trucker, man.
Not much. Talk to us.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think it goes back to what you talk about. I used to watch my little cousins growing up, and you see their mom combing their hair. Sit your ass still. Quit moving. You know what I mean? I got to comb this nappy shit. And you see, to go to school with burns on their head. I know you were the first person I heard say that, and it always reminded me back of my childhood when I would watch that. I'm
glad you gave me my credit. I was about to go off. I was about to go off. I said, wait a minute, how he repeating what I said?
No, I said at the beginning. I said it's like you say. I gave you a credit, man.
Oh no, that's what I'm happy, but I want you to understand, or maybe you can explain it to them. Why is it that Black women don't see a problem with that? Like, they don't see the way they treat their little girls. And that's what Irene was alluding to. And I say all the time, how can you raise a little Black girl to feeling comfortable about being a little Black girl when you complain about everything about her?
Man, I honestly don't know the answer to that, man. I don't. Like I said, I just know that I think it stems from what you've always talked about seeing their mom. Think about it. If you're beating something in someone's head for 15 years, that I don't like combing your fucking hair. I hate sitting down combing it. It's a chore. I think if you're getting that beat into your head every day, then you take on this mindset that, man, fuck this. Instead of doing my hair, I'd rather just put something on it.
Yep.
And not have to bother with it for 2 months, 2 or 3 fucking months, while that shit just sits in your head stinking. I think it's just a psychology thing, man. I think, that's what I think. I don't have any other answers, besides that.
All right. Well, thank you, brother, for the phone call. Young lady, is there anything you'd like to say to him before I let him go?
I think he brought up a really good point about the verbiage that we use toward Black children about their hair, calling it nappy, complaining about it, things like that. I think it seeds at a very young age that something is wrong with their hair. I know when my daughter's hair gets tangled, I say, oh, your hair is tangled. Remember, your curls are so pretty. This is what we do for them. So I think our negative view of ourselves is often seen in how we treat the children and speak to the children who have natural hair normally at that age. And it can seed in them a dislike for what is naturally on their head. And I think that's unfortunate.
Yes. Well, thank you, man. Elite Class Trucker. And that's my dog over in the chat room over on the other side. Y'all go look for it. I'm going to answer some more phone calls. But I want to say this to you, Irene, and you tell me what you think about this statement.
Yeah.
Whenever black men date outside of their race, black women tend to tell them, well, you did that because you couldn't handle a strong black woman. You date that white woman because she'll put up with your shit. So they make all these statements, but this so-called strong black woman who wants you to put up with someone else's attitude, not your own, hers, her being difficult. And she's saying it is a thing for you to put up with her personality. It shows strength and power. Yet this same woman will not look at her hairs the same way and say, this is part of the difficulty of being a black woman, and I embrace it. And let me say this to you, black women. It wouldn't be difficult if you just did it. It's just like cutting grass when you got a big yard. It appears difficult when you first do it. After you've done it enough times, it doesn't seem difficult at all. It's normal. Cleaning my house is difficult. It's easier if I had an apartment of 2 rooms. So what, am I just going to not do it? Okay, that's a bad example because I don't do it. But the point is, why would you just use the excuse, it's just so difficult to do it? So if black men are expected to put up with your crap just to be with you, then shouldn't you put up with your own hair, which you were born with, and you've had years of opportunities to learn how to do it? You think that's a fair thing to ask?
I think ideally, from a young age, we would be teaching our daughters how to care for their hair naturally. And so that when they grew into women, they could be comfortable with their hair. Because like I said, I know many women who have said to me, and I get a lot of pushback. I saw in my chat, one of my subscribers was saying this, well, Irene, your hair is straight. So are you emulating white beauty? And I said, well, my hair is wavy and it's not flat iron today, although I do flat iron my hair, but it goes straight if I put it up. But that's how my hair really is. You know what I mean? I can't really help that. And somebody else said, well, your daughters are mixed. Well, yeah, but they have curly hair and I teach them how to love and care for their hair. And I've heard my daughters say they like other types of hair. And I go, that's great, but your hair is beautiful. Do you know what I mean? That her hair is pretty. Your hair is beautiful too. And then I teach them to care for it in a way that they can get compliments. And that's why when I see especially little black girls out and they've got their beads in, or, they've got their braids or their hairs in little puffs, I'll go, your hair is so pretty. And I think we have to behave that way and be genuine about it, especially with black hair. It comes in all different kinds of curl patterns, all different kinds of ways. None of those ways is better than another. I really want to get rid of the good hair thing because, like I said, I know women who will say, well, your hair is natural, but your hair is not really curly, so you don't count. You know what I mean? Your hair is nice too. I don't have good hair. All of our hair is good. If anything, your hair is better than mine. Do you know what I mean? There are styles I'll never be able to wear.
Like, it's a weird thing that people do that people would sit there and not understand. My daughter went through that. But a part of that was my doing. Let me explain. If you send your child, you have your child living in a neighborhood where 1 of 100 kids look like her. You send her to a school where 1 of 100 kids look like her. You're going to have an issue. Well, my daughter's mom, and I was able to change this. I remember my daughter crying and said, I wish I had hair like this. She named this little girl in her class. But how can I get mad when I just let my daughter watch Tangled, when her mother had some extensions in her damn hair? So I told her mom, you gotta stop wearing that crap. And she hasn't worn any extension or anything, and she grew her hair she cut all of it off. She grew it from the time that my daughter was about 6. It's now down her back. She grew it that long, and she didn't wear no weaves to cover it, no protective hairstyles. And somebody might say, well, she got some mixture in her. And I'm like, no, her sisters are the same color as I am. She just had, like it was I think her daddy was the mailman or the milkman, but whatever. She just happened to come out light. But it had nothing to do with she's mixed, because there's none of that in her. But the thing is, now my daughter loves her hair. My daughter thinks that so she looks on YouTube for women who have hair like her, so she can figure out how to do it. My daughter's 12 and does her own hair before she goes to school in the morning. 12. And I know grown women who don't know how to do their own hair. A 12-year-old knows how to do it. Why? Because her mother does it. She watches her mother do it. And so you don't think that little girl gets up in the morning and says, like most little girls do, let me do something to my hair. Let me put it in my favorite hairstyle. And she's figured out how to do it, so she don't have to go to her mom to get it done. If we had more of that in the Black community, if we had more people recognizing the situation that their children are in, the situation your children are in is that they are bombarded by images of non-Black women. But the main place they're bombarded by images of non-Black women is at home, because they look and they see their mothers. They look and they watch their mothers watching the soap operas all day with these beautiful white women throwing their hair. And that's all they see. And the biggest thing is when they see their mother not willing to have their hair look like theirs and their mothers talk shit to them. That's a problem. That's a real big issue. And it starts with our women, because you don't hear a Black man say to his daughter, with your nappy ass hair. You don't hear a Black man say to his daughter, sit your black ass down looking like your black ass mama. We don't say that. And I know that people get mad when I point things out to women. But my God, we better start pointing out where problems are and who's causing them. And I don't care who's doing it, because if we don't mind calling out white people for doing what is perceived racist things, then we better start being able to call out our own people for doing racist things. And to end it, Irene, you're 100% right, because I know several mixed girls who felt bad about what they had, because they felt like they didn't have the Black girl's hair and they didn't have the white girl's hair. And what happened now is they're starting to feel a lot better about themselves, because they're starting to feel that their hair is unique, because they're starting to see more of mixed girls on television. They're starting to see more of the Zendayas on television and the one from the Hunger Games. The more they see, and now you see commercials with a lot of mixed chicks. Once you start pushing the confidence on your children, they will grow up with that confidence. So Irene, I appreciate the fact that you're telling your children, this is what you were born with, and it's just as beautiful as anybody else's. You just have to work it this way. I appreciate that. Because would you make your daughter who has a flat ass feel bad because she don't have the big ass that this other woman went out and bought? No, you wouldn't if you were a responsible parent. Be responsible in parenting.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting you bring that up, because I think the feelings, and you brought it up about, mixed girls, but as a Black woman, even when people comment on my hair, which is natural, I feel it's really indicative of, no matter how your hair is, somebody's not going to like it, because in the Black community, we dislike our hair so much that if your hair is not curly enough, it's a problem. If it's too curly, it's nappy. If it's, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, just chill out. Like, that, just embrace what is growing out of your head. We don't have to hate on every other. We know that Black hair comes in all of these textures. But the thing is that our pathology isn't with if your hair is not curly enough or if it's too nappy. Our pathology lies in the fact that we simply don't like our hair in any form. Overwhelmingly, in any form, as Black women, we feel something about us needs to be different. And part of that is just being a woman, because women are always feeling they are not happy with some aspect of themselves. But then I think there's kind of doubled down in the Black community, where you can never be enough. Your hair can never be straight enough. It can never be too curly. It can never be, wavy enough. It can never just be right. And we attack each other and put each other down. And it's like, that part has to stop. I think that is indicative of the fact that we just overwhelmingly, as Black women, have a problem with Black hair, period. We don't even care how it comes. It's just the fact that it's your own hair and it grew out of your scalp that we can find flaws with it. And I think we need to step back and take a look at that and really evaluate why that is. You know, we're picking on the people with the kinkiest hair. The thing is, the Black community doesn't like anybody's hair. You know what I mean? Good hair is kind of a double standard, right? You're saying somebody else's hair is bad, and then you're pointing out that your hair is different. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's so deep that
I agree. And somebody in the comment section said something I really hate when people say that. I know what he's trying to. One of your friends, he said, my son is biracial. He got the best of both parents. Anytime people say the best of both worlds, I think that's the most irritating thing in the world. Your child is not some superhuman that's better than both of them. That's not what it is. So I don't know why, but that's really something that's pushed on Black people. Black people believe that a mixed person is like a fucking superhero to them. And that bothers me so much. Stop saying that your kid has the best of both worlds. Because by that logic, every kid who's born of any two parents has the best of both worlds. Like it's a ridiculous thing to say. Two Black parents, that what do they have they don't have the best of both parents? The best of both is let me not go on to that. Guys, let me open up another phone call here from the phone lines. And again, the number is 213-943-3362. We're just going to go down the line now and talk to the people on the line. Next person to call into the show is 779. Caller, you're on the air. Talk to me.
Hello?
Hey, talk to me.
I think it's a little disingenuous. I don't think we could just blame the Black woman because you even said I don't know if you're joking out, but you say, oh, they look like men without them weave. So the society thinks Black women look better with weave. So that's why I think they have weave on.
Oh, I'm just being a dick. If you're gonna eat the cake, then I'm gonna shove it in your mouth. So if you're going to keep wearing this weave, then I'm going to make you feel like crap for wearing it. That's how I do it.
Well, you don't think, but you don't think society think Black women look better with weave?
I don't know if society thinks it, but I think maybe there was a point that society thought Black women didn't look good with fat asses either, did they? Huh?
Well, can I address this?
Well, okay.
So, I understand what you're saying. And I think this is why I'm so anti-media. I do know that what's propagandized on television is beautiful Black women overwhelmingly with fake hair. So I agree with that. But this comes into personal accountability. Just because somebody sits you at a buffet doesn't mean you need to get your plate and eat everything you see. You know, so we're not cattle. You know, we're human beings and we have subjective reasoning. And so if you are a person who is of such a weak mindset that when you see something portrayed over and over and over again, you're incapable of stopping emulation and separating propaganda and fantasy and presentation from reality, then you probably need to step away from media so that you can get a grasp on like your own personal views and what those are. But I do agree with you. Yes, society does push that. That is what we commonly see. However, again, there's self-accountability. You either are going to be a strong-minded person or not, and not pander to what's in television. Television, that's not real life. You know, media is not real life. In real life, what I find is that most people, especially when we're looking at people of other ethnicities, they like the differences between the cultures. That's why you get those, and I'm not saying this is polite, but when Black women do have natural hair, people want to touch it. Why? Because it's interesting, it's fascinating, it's different. That's why when we see unique qualities in people who don't look like us, we find that interesting. Do you know what I mean? We're like, oh, that's exotic. That's what exotic is, right? It's something that is different from what you're accustomed to. And so instead of viewing ourselves as exotic and preservation of our look as something that preserves an exotic sort of beauty that is unique, Black women are pandering to, as you said, what society is pushing. But again, media sells stuff. Weave is an industry. Do you know what I mean? A lot of these Black chicks on television will weave, sell weave. So of course they're gonna push, you know, their own products. And so, you know, we have to have a level of self accountability. The thing is that people can tempt you, present to you, try to manipulate you as much as they want. But you need to be cognizant and present and make choices based on your personal reality, not based on what you're exposed to. And I feel like a lot of people, not just in the Black community, are incapable of doing that a lot of the time.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, well, not even in media, like when people look at the Instagram models, you see the long flowing hair, or
yeah, that's media. It's social media. It's just a form.
I'm saying, like, if they get more attention with the weave, that's gonna. I think.
Well, no, a half-naked woman's gonna get attention.
Speak up more.
Yeah, let him finish his point and then jump in and address him. What did you say again, brother?
Okay. I was saying, I think Black men should speak up more, because I think these women see that. I think they actually do get more attention with the weave than their real hair. So if you're getting positive attention from men and they thinking you look good, I think they're gonna keep doing it. So if the men overall really don't like the fake hair, they should do more about it, I think.
But I don't think that's what it is, because the man's trying to get your vagina. Remember, women still got attention when they had afros. Like, I don't understand. How can we say this as if Black people had stopped producing children at one point in time? I hear what you're saying, but there's more to it. The woman who wears weaves, it used to be a time where we made fun of weaves. We would snatch them off people, say, look, I'm an old man. So I remember when wearing a weave was a joke. Martin used to make fun of Pam all the time, calling her Weavy Wonder. Did it stop, even though it was a punchline it was a punchline on the show? Did it stop women, Black women, from wearing it? So the problem is, guys like sex. As long as we like sex, we're going to sleep with women pretty much however they come. And women know this. So they're not wearing weaves to impress Black men. Because let me tell you something. Black women have no problem having several kids out of wedlock by several different men. And they still have no problem getting a new man. Because they dictate what we do. They go to other races of men, they have a hard time. Black women with kids by other men have a hard time getting a white man, an Asian man, or any other man. But guess who they don't have a problem getting after they do all that? Us. We run to them no matter what they got. Why? Because we were raised by mothers like that.
Well, I would have to be a slight dissenting voice with Tommy. I'll agree with you in part, caller, that it is helpful for men to simply not engage women who are other than their preference. But I also want to say, for what you were describing, social media, which is just another type of media, right? Maybe more insidious because it's augmented to your preferences. Those women are half naked. So I don't know if weave is the biggest factor. And
that's what I was selling.
Getting likes, you know.
Those women are selling sex, not weave. They're selling sex, not weave. Because half the time when you see their long flowing weave, they're standing like this as well. So it's not like you're just seeing their profile and you're thinking, wow, she's so much better with that weave than without it. No, she got on a bathing suit, but nowhere near water because she's scared to get it wet. But so that's what's being sold. Listen. Black women have gotten to the point where all they're trying to do is appeal to a man's base senses, his sexuality. That's it. The weave is for them. Yeah, the weave makes them feel better. You can be a bald-headed woman with a fat ass, you're going to get 1,000 likes.
Like Amber Rose, she bald-headed and a lot of guys think she's sexy.
That's my point. Thank you, sir, for making my point.
One more.
Go ahead.
One more. Yeah, what do I point? Gonna say? I just fucking went blank.
All right. That's okay. We're gonna get to some more phone calls. Thank you so much for calling in, guys. We're gonna try to get to all of you. We see the lines are full, so I'm just gonna run down the list. Ask myself, ask Irene, what do you think about women and weaves? Does that show that they're ashamed of being Black? Some women who wear weaves, I'd love for you guys to call in as well. 763, caller, you're on the air.
Tommy, this is on me, Sean Wilson.
What's going on? Talk to us.
Hello?
What do you think?
Hey, as you know, I sell weave, and the problem with weave is a lot of women leave it in too long, and they don't wash it when they take it out. And
is that the only problem, sir? Let me
sister.
ask you something though. Is that really the problem with weave, or is it the fact that they're wearing stuff that doesn't look like their own head? Because it seems like Irene and I are the same on this. If these women were putting in hair that at least looked like what they could possibly grow out of their scalp, that would make sense. It's just like breast implants. A woman can get breast implants, but if I get breast implants, people would think it was weird. Why? Because they'd be like, but you're a man.
I agree with you on that aspect, Tommy, but a lot of it has to do with not the respect of Madam C.J. Walker, who made the first softening gel and hot comb, and just, really and truly, I really think that these women nowadays didn't get taken care of as their hair, and all they know is throw something in it, and this is what it do. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the way it's supposed to be, man. I mean, it's just a whole disrespect for Madam C.J. Walker, man. And, that's a business we as black people should be into, not just hair weave and weave mobiles and stuff. But, I'm in it, so, it is what it is, man. I'm trying to eat.
Well, I feel you. We have a guy who sells it. And so we got the self-hate salesman on the line. How do you sleep at night, sir?
Hey, I try to sleep good as I possibly can, man. That's my wife who wears natural hair, dog. It is what it is, man. I ain't messing with no shit that got that phony stuff in their hair, man. Like I say, in the end, man, it's gonna just pull it out. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to be funny. That's why I sell, lace fronts. Keeping it 100 with you.
Y'all heard that, right? He said he sells it, but he doesn't fuck with you if you're wearing it.
Right, but look, listen. I might have sold a little powder, but I didn't toot none of it.
Hey, look, at the end of the day, it's not what you do, it's whether you get away with it or not, dog. That's how it works out.
Why?
He all right with me. Definitely, like this woman in the comment section was like, Tommy, you date women with weave. No, I don't. You've never seen me in a relationship with a woman with weave. Have you seen me attack their spinal column? Yes. That's it, though.
My man, Tommy, you a beast. Nah, I'm serious about getting together with that commercial with you, man, because I need that blood.
Let's do it, man. Hey, listen, I had a woman who sold weave on my show for like 2 years. And she made plenty of money too. She said it was just weird that I would talk against. Like, look, you can do whatever your proclivities are in life, guys. They're yours. But if you're gonna do them, why get mad at somebody for pointing out the truth of what it is that you're doing? That's all. Everything that I do, if people got a problem with it, I get it, but I don't have a problem with it. That's why I'm doing it. My grandmother always told me, if you don't like people talking about what you're doing, stop doing it.
All day long. But I just want to say one more thing, Tommy. I just want to say one more thing, and I'm out.
Go ahead.
Have you, like I say, I'm Sean Wilson. You know what it is, and I'm definitely serious about doing the hair weave thing with you, man. Throw me a price out or hit me offline, whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is my number. And,
email me at advertising.
I'm very serious about doing that.
Email me at advertising@yourworldmyviews.com, or just go to the website. It's there. Advertising at.
I did it.
Well, do it now. I'm saying so I can see it.
Okay.
Do it now, and I'll get with you. All right.
Okay, no problem, dog.
And if you don't advertise with me, I'm gonna put your phone number out for the whole world. I'm just letting you know.
I'm doing it now, man.
No, he didn't. No, she sold weave. She had a weave commercial. I would run commercials during the show, and she had a commercial on there. So she didn't sell weave, and she was claiming that she does it in a natural way. And I would just always laugh as soon as the commercial would go off. I just started laughing. I was like, if that's what you do, That's what you do. Because there are people who listen to my show and still wear their weaves. If you're confident in what you're doing, my thoughts or Irene's thoughts is not going to make you upset. It's like those MGTOW guys. Why would those MGTOW guys stalk you when if they're confident in what they're doing, they just ignore you?
Well, they don't care about women, but I'm a woman and they sure care about me.
You don't see me on weed. Here's the one thing none of y'all could ever say you've seen me do. Get on chicks who sell weed YouTube channel and talk shit. I've never done it. I've literally never done it. As a matter of fact, I've had many of them on the show to explain what they do. But I'm not one of those people that think you're just the most evil person in the world because you do something I don't like. And even this is something I know that it harms your children. But if I really believe it, then why can't I explain it to you? And if you still do it, at least I've done my job by giving you what I think and the facts behind why I think it. Let's go to another. 323, you're on the line with myself and Irene. Talk to us. You got a lot going on there, pimp, so I had to cut you off. 205, caller, you're on the line with myself and Irene. Talk to us.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I'm calling concerning the topic, and I basically want to say majority of our people suffer from Stockholm syndrome, which all stems from all the way back from chattel slavery, especially our women, and it's a form of self-hatred. It's not just the hair texture that they have an issue with; it's also their hair color as well as their skin and everything else. But what they basically do is perpetuate the same propaganda that Esau, which is the so-called white man, promotes.
You know what's funny? And I want to see if Irene will jump in on this. I'm going to agree with you on that because you ever notice that the more weave those women get, it starts getting lighter and lighter. Next thing you know, it's honey blonde, and their makeup starts getting lighter and lighter as well, and their skin starts to lighten.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's all a part of self-hatred they have. That they buy into what the image that society promotes, and so they basically perpetuate it. So no matter what we tell them, and plus a woman's natural long hair is her glory, which is her beauty. And so no matter how fat her titty is or fat her ass is, if her hair is not all together, she's still not gonna feel beauty because that's the glory, a woman's glory, which is say her natural long hair, hair basically, because that's a woman's glory, which is her beauty. So that's why they want that which they ain't gonna get that on that side. Those that still gotta keep his man, they get it on in the kingdom of heaven on the other side. But right now it's a part of the divine curses that we honor. That's why they cannot naturally grow their hair long as other women as a whole, man. Besides all the chemicals and stuff they put in.
No, they can. They just don't take care of it. No. Black women can grow their hair. They just have to have two things: patience and understanding. If they understand their hair, they can do. It's the same thing as being a short dude in the NBA. He still can play in the NBA. He just got to know Chris Paul pretty damn good.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but as a whole, they can't because it's a curse upon them. And plus, I said, besides the chemicals and stuff they're putting in it too, which is destroying it, they're not making it any better by putting somebody else's hair in their head. So, I want to disagree with what you said about the hair. You said they get hair that look like somebody else. It'd be like if they got hair that look like their own hair, it wouldn't be a problem. It still be a problem because that's not their real hair. Or the fake is fake. But I see what you're talking about. For at least if it looked like the black hair like their own hair, but they might as well just leave their hair like it is. In that case, the little hair that they have.
Well, I hope you understand. You're not going to help black women by telling them their hair is cursed.
No, it's not helping. No, they don't understand. No, it's not helping get them to understand.
You said that they ain't gonna get good hair until they go to heaven. That's some fucked up shit. A bitch gotta wait till she dead.
I mean, whether they want to believe it like it or not, but that's the way it is. But so, because think about any other women. Why are our women the only one that you see mostly known? Because our women not the only one that put chemicals and stuff in their head and stuff like that. But why? But for as a whole, our women are the only one that know that the men of their nation, in other words, can grow hair longer than they can. That's a curse. You got to admit that's an embarrassment right there. The men can actually grow their hair naturally longer than the women is, and so it's messed up. But it is what it is for now. So yeah, I just want to call in and just make that put the positive vibration out there and just say that. I'm not trying to hold up any calls or anything, but
that's good. That's good.
That's all I wanted to say.
All right, thank you very much, Irene. I'm gonna let you handle this. You are a religious person. You're a Christian. He brought up the Bible to explain why black women got shitty hair and it won't grow and they glory sucks and it will not come back to them until they die and repent and go back to God. What do you say?
I think he might be a Hebrew Israelite. But this is what I'll say. So I definitely think that you're wrong. Black women's hair does grow, and keep in mind, and I did a whole video on this, what appears sometimes to be short hair on black women is actually very long, especially if your hair is very, very kinky and curly. It could look shoulder length and be hip length. So I think it's really important to make the distinction between hair that is truly short and hair that's very kinky. But I agree with Tommy that you just really aren't taking care of your hair. And so if you're not seeing growth, that's why. And I'll agree with the caller that a woman's hair is her glory, which is why when black women aren't taking care of their hair, they will opt for fake hair because on some instinctual level, we know that our hair is our crown. And so unfortunately, a lot of black women are addressing the issue by not embracing their own hair and trying to care for their own hair, but simply rushing the process. Because like Tommy said, takes time. They're rushing the process and, putting weave in their hair instead, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, because here's the thing. My daughter's mom can grow hair like that. Her sister can't grow hair like that. And my daughter can't grow hair like that. My daughter, it takes a lot longer. But what you have to understand is black hair is the opposite of white hair. Meaning white hair, they have oily hair and they're typically having to work around that. The black scalp, however, is typically dry and they have to work around that. All you got to do is find the right treatments of how to deal with your hair, because every woman has to go through that. Because if that wasn't true, white women wouldn't have all these products either. They wouldn't have all VO5 and all this other stuff for their hair. So every grade of hair, just like all you guys out there who have beards, tell them how difficult it is to grow a beard and how intricate it is just to grow a beard. You got weave, a beard balm, you got beard softener, you got special beard brushes, you got beard routines. Like the people you see with these big, luxurious beards, and it doesn't matter what color they are. The black guys like James Harden or Conor McGregor, men will tell you, growing a beard and having it nice is difficult. Like I don't take care of mine and it looked like it. But I've seen the process. I know what kind of products they have for it. You got to be into whatever it is you do. But think about it. Isn't it just as difficult to stay in shape? Think about how difficult it is to stay physically fit, especially the older you get. But you got to know what to feed your body, when to exercise, when to sleep, when to do a lot of things just to stay physically fit. So why do we give a pass to black women saying that, well, they have to do this to their hair and have to do that, when I know dudes in jail who know how to keep their hair up? They in jail. And he come out with a head full of waves. He keep it tight on that thing on him. And he brush it all day. How many of y'all been out and seen niggas just brushing their hair all day? It is a process, but it's worth it in the end. It's worth it because it's yours. It's worth it because it's unique. It's worth it because, as Irene said, like I got a message from a young lady who said, why do you have this Oreo on the show? You need a real black woman. So they were saying that you're not black because of the texture of your hair. You press the button and now you're muted.
First and foremost, let me just say that I am black. Both of my parents are black. I'm Gullah. I'm black mixed with black. I'm not in any way, shape, or form mixed. You know, our hair comes in all different textures. Every black person doesn't have the woolliest hair on the block. But this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier, is that we will insult the black woman with woolly hair, and we will talk crap about the black woman with wavy hair. And at the end of the day, like, stop. This mess has to stop. What, my hair is not curly enough for the black team? Even though I have two black parents? That doesn't make sense.
And she said, I never said anything about her hair. I didn't say that she said anything about your hair. I said that she said you were Oreo.
Oh, well, why would I be an Oreo? I mean, what about me would be Oreo?
Maybe it's because of how you speak. You don't speak hood.
Oh.
You
So-
know that happens a lot too. My daughter gets called white girl.
Okay. So proper English and education makes you an Oreo?
Yes, because black people we take pride in
And
doing the worst
stupidity.
shit.
Mhm.
Yes, not even just stupidity, the worst shit. When a guy says I'm a real nigga, he ain't saying that he got a good job, he's a good husband, and and he just graduated from college and he's a doctor, but he gets credit for saying he a real nigga. Black women have gotten to the point where they say they're a real bitch.
Mhm. Yeah, because
We take pride in failure. We take pride. We're the only culture who takes pride in failure. We're the only one. Let's go to the next phone call. I think what I'm gonna do is let that woman come on and do a segment, but not right now. 202 caller, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hey.
Yes. Hi. How are you? And hi, Irene. So I had a couple of. I just want to, before I even start, I just want to preface it that I am a Black woman. Can you hear me?
Yes, you sound like an Oreo. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi. Well, I am a Black woman. I am in my mid-30s. I have a kinkier texture curl pattern, or where it's very, very coily, and I guess you would quantify it as like 4C if anyone knows the hair typing system. But I just want to say, Irene, I think that you're really like the worst person to have this conversation with, because your hair, the texture discrimination is like the new colorism. So there is no, there really isn't anybody who is reflected with coilier or kinkier textured hair. A lot of times the women that are out talking about, oh, well, I wear my natural hair, or my hair is wavy, or my hair is curly, and I always wear it natural. Well, if my hair looked like yours, I wouldn't have any reason not to wear it natural.
She's got a point.
Because it's very easy to maintain. You are literally what the European standard of beauty is when it comes to the hair texture.
She's got a point.
When we started with the whole going natural, it was from my understanding, it was meant for people with my textured hair. So with women who weren't taught on how to do their hair, because it's a completely different texture. It's wool like cotton, if you will. It wasn't for women, no offense, that have your textured hair.
But I want to say, can I say this to you? The young lady who used to come on my show, Goddess, has hair actually more fine than hers, and Goddess is a little bit darker than her, but they're about the same skin complexion. Do you know when I met Goddess had a weave in her hair? And I said, well, why would you wear a weave? Because she said, well, my hair, I remember she said, well, my hair looks just like this. And I made a face. I was like, shut up, Trick. And then she took it off and she had hair exactly like that. So then here was the problem with her, though. She wore weave still just to fit in, because she said as a kid, the girls used to beat her up, cut her hair, and call her all kinds of names because of that. So she would wear weaves just to fit in with the black girls. Go ahead, and I'm going to let Irene address you.
Okay, so
no, I won't. I want Irene. I'm gonna let Irene respond. Go ahead.
So I think what you're bringing up is very interesting, but I'm going to tell you a little story, and maybe it will resonate with you. So my mother remarried, and her and my father were not married. And every summer and winter, I would go visit my father. And one summer, I was visiting my father, and his wife, my other mother, relaxed my hair. I might have been around 7. And from the age of 7 until the age of 30, my hair was relaxed. And I cut all my hair off. I wasn't trying to go natural. I just didn't want to relax my hair anymore. And I started growing my hair. I think my experience is the experience of many Black women. I didn't know what kind of curl pattern I had. I don't think the going natural is just for people with kinky hair, because when your hair has been straightened from a child, you don't know what your hair looks like. I didn't grow up with the experience of having good hair. I didn't know my hair was considered good hair until a Black person pointed that out to me after I went natural. And I thought, oh, well, I just thought I had black hair. And to be honest with you, many people who aren't black don't, when my hair hasn't been bunned and is looking more straight like it is now, they just think I have black hair. It's only black people that make these micro distinctions. But with that said, you are right, because I mentioned this earlier, that people with very kinky hair tend to feel, but see, even what you're saying is indicative of the problem, tend to feel that they can't wear their hair natural, because if my hair, like you said, was like yours, I'd be more apt to wear it natural. But I think it should be the exact opposite. I think the hair that you're describing is on your head is the pinnacle of black beauty, and we should see it more.
Now, actually, what she was saying is, if more black women had hair like yours, we'd have less black women wearing weaves. She said it's kind of hard having you on the show playing with your hair every 5 seconds when black women are trying to go out and buy hair like that. So I actually think she's making a really good point, because if I'm trying to sit here and tell black women to go natural, and I got a girl who keeps playing in her hair and her hair straight, it kind of looks hypocritical. Is that what you're saying, young lady?
Absolutely. And can I just make this one point specifically about what you have a tendency to say? You said it in this conversation, and you said it in previous shows that you've had about, well, black men just want someone to wear their natural hair, right? And there.
Well, no, I didn't say black men just want that. I never said that.
Fallacy,
no, I never said black men. Hold on, ma'am. I never said black men just want somebody to wear their natural hair. I never said that. I said black men go wherever they want sex. So whatever a woman's doing, we're pretty much going to allow it because we want to sleep with them.
Okay. Sorry for misquoting you.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to throw this out here. So I'm a newlywed, and I really wanted to marry someone that was black. But unfortunately, a lot of the black guys I dated, they always wanted my hair to be straightened. They loved me when I had my hair either pressed straight. They loved it when I had my weave. It wasn't until I decided to jump on this kind of natural bandwagon. And black guys did not like that. White guys, however, were all about it. Very accommodating, definitely pumping up my self-esteem in terms of, you are the prettiest in a natural state.
I've said that before.
Weave. Don't straighten your hair.
I've seen more natural black women. I've said that before. I've seen more natural black women dating outside of their race than dating inside of their race. But let me explain why. See, the white man accepts you because he expects you to be that way. He doesn't make it. He expects your hair to be different than his. That's what he expects. They're shocked whenever they see black women with hair like a white woman. That looks weird to them. Number one. Number two, all men want to be with a woman considered attractive by others. And black men are typically raised in a household with black women who have conditioned them to believe weave is better, nappy hair is bad, because the words out of the black mother's mouth is nappy hair is bad. So the black man is just one, because our woman is our prize. Typically, a woman is indicative. The woman you pick is indicative of how well you're doing in life. Seriously. If I had a fat woman on my arms, nobody would think I was rich. If I had a fine woman on my arm, you think I was rich. And when you see me walking around with a woman in her 20s, the first thing that people say is, that nigga got money. It's a pride thing. So a lot of black men are known to be in communities where the black women are getting praised when they have these added features. So they wanted the same thing in you because they want that praise. Our woman is our trophy.
To the caller, I would say that you bring up a very good point, and I was hesitant to make it earlier, but I'm glad that you brought it up. And what I have experienced too is that non-black men prefer black women with natural hair, and black men, depending on the texture of your hair, right? Going back to what you were saying about texture, prefer women with natural hair if it reminds them of, and I will say this because I want to honor what you mentioned earlier. I've had people say, oh, well, she kind of reminds me of a Dominican or a Brazilian or something like that. So I will agree with you that in our own community, there's a problem. But that's why I said the kinkier hair has to become the standard. And it has to become the standard and more visible for that reason. because we have a view in our community and a dysfunction that makes us gravitate toward the least identifiable hair textures in comparison to our ethnicity. And so we really have to undo that, and even undo the mindset that brings forth conversations where we talk about it would be more prevalent if our hair was less woolly, if all of our women had less kinky hair. We've got to undo that mindset, because while we have it, we're functioning from a very unhealthy place collectively.
You get the last word, young lady.
Well, my last word will be a question to both of you, and that is, would you have such a problem with Black women wearing weave if Black women own the business and not Asian?
Of who?
So if all of the money was within the Black community, the people who were just creating it, distributing it, and buying it was within the Black community, would you feel differently about it as opposed to Black women spending, I guess, millions of dollars to the Asian community and uplifting their
well, it's impossible for that to happen, because they would have to still get it from one source, and that source would be the Asian's head.
Well, I would say I feel about as comfortable with it as I feel about a Black man selling a Black person crack, or a Black woman, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I wouldn't feel comfortable with it, because I would feel worse if we were authoring our own self-destruction. I would be even more sad about that. So I'm almost glad that it's somebody else, because that would just be a pathology, that runs even deeper than, what we're already dealing with.
Well, I'm not glad that somebody else is getting paid off of it, but I still understand exactly what she's saying. So this has me betwixt and between, because it would be nice if Black people were at least getting rich and sending their kids to school. Like, here's my thing. If Black women were having families, sending their kids to school, getting rich, getting out of this hood mentality and wearing this weave on their head, I think I'd accept that more than them wearing this weave on their head and doing the crap that they're doing now. So I look at Black women, as much as I talk about weave, if she's an upstanding citizen, I feel a whole lot better about it. Upstanding citizen with a weave than these hood ass women that's walking around. So that's just me, though.
Thank you for your time.
No problem. Very good conversation. I love your comeback. I like the fact that you weren't Irene. I like the fact that you didn't sugarcoat it. Like, hey, it's like drugs. Let me see if I can bring in 267. Caller, you on the air. Go ahead. Be quick. What are your thoughts? Self-hate? What is it?
Hello, how you doing?
Doing well. You're on the line with myself and Irene.
Hi, how you doing? How you doing, Tommy? Nice to talk to you again. This is a great conversation. Actually, I have two points to make. First, the first point I want to make, I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous, but if you, what I realize is a lot of white people, a lot of them don't really like the whole weed business. I'm not sure if you listen to the Store in the Morning. He has this co-host named what's her name, Coochie Popper or Popper Coochie. It's some type of weird ghetto name, and I guess a listener was a white guy who had a beef with the co-host, called in and went in on her. And one of the things he said to her was he was making fun of her weave that she wear, and she said she looked horrible, and she was wearing an old white woman wig, which at the time was very funny. But another thing I would like to say was I had experience in college where I had a white roommate, and one of the things we were at a party, and she was a little drunk, but one of the things she asked me was, why does Black girls wear fake hair so much? And she started telling me the different flaws she had with the weave and the extension. And one of the things she said was the hair stinks, and she felt that it was very unsanitary. But she actually told me that, that Black people look best when they wear their own natural hair. Why? And she was asking me, why don't they wear their own natural, hair? And I went to Penn State at this time. I think it was 2000 and I don't know, I think 7 or 6. I can't remember. And she was telling me, it was like a little pet peeve of hers where when we wear the weave, or even like wearing scarves on their head, because a lot of the Black girls at the time, when they don't get their hair done, they wear scarves on top of their heads. At first I was a little offended, but then I started thinking to myself, I asked her, what, instead of like yelling at her, I know if I was a typical Black girl, or had the typical Black mentality, I probably would have went off on her. But I asked her, why she felt this way, and she started naming all the different things why she felt it that way, and that she had other Black friends, but some of them wear the natural hair, and she said one of the things is, when she noticed when Black people wear the own.
Can you help me out? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be funny, but you're losing me a little bit. What are you getting at?
Well,
you made my mom text me and say, "What is she talking about?" I didn't know my mom was watching. Now I can't cuss.
Hi, Mom.
My apologies. I'm sorry. Well, a lot of the time, what I hear from Black people is one of the reasons why they try to wear these. The reason why they wear this weave is because they're trying to compete with white females. But what I'm trying to say is, even I would say a lot of that is false, because with white people, what I'm beginning to notice is they don't even like the weave. So if they trying to compete with white females with wearing weave, it's kind of what they're trying to do. I guess it's in vain, because a lot of white people don't even like the weave. They complain about
you can't. Well, I want to say this: you can't. If you're trying to compete with somebody and they know you're trying to compete with them, then of course they're going to complain about it. That's why Apple complains about what Microsoft does, and vice versa. So you can't take it that way and say, "Well, white women are complaining." They may be complaining because the Black women are actually competing with them. That would be a reason that they can complain as well. So you never go to the competition and ask, "How do you feel about that?"
that is true.
Right.
This is a great topic. I definitely agree with you with the weave. And I know a lot of people say it's a protective style. It's a protective style when you actually take care of your hair under the weave. Mm-hmm. And the problem is a lot of these young ladies don't take care of their hair, or don't even know how to take care of their hair under that weave.
My mother just said, she said, "Tell everyone I said hi." She said, "But I still don't get it." She said, "Still doesn't understand what you're saying." But I want to say something. My mother is in her 60s, and my mother has never worn a weave, and she's been natural her whole life. And she's a Black woman. Now, maybe some might consider, well, she's got good, whatever. She's never done this, and she's never felt the need. Now, that's a different generation, but she had no problem getting kids. She had no problem getting dates. And my mother weighed 99 pounds for the longest time, even after she had her last kid. She still was small. But everybody has their fights in life. I'm sure one of her fights was, "I'm too small." Maybe at that point they were wanting women who were quote unquote thicker. But everybody has their fights in life, and I just wish that Black women would accept their fight, especially if they're going to go around telling people that they're queens. You cannot be so But then the fact that you have to tell people you're a queen, and I want to see if you guys understand this, and if Irene can understand this or disagrees. The fact that you have to tell people that you're a queen is a sign of insecurity. It's just like a man having to tell people how big he is. It's a sign of insecurity. There's no need to do this. I got a bunch of money. There's no need to do this. It's a sign of insecurity. Do you agree or disagree, Irene? And thank you so much, dear, for the phone call.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that I don't see a problem with affirmations. I don't know what's behind the queen and king thing, But what I will say is, if you say positive things about yourself, sometimes it can help you, feel better about yourself and make better choices. So I think if it's used in that sense, then that's good. You talk about speaking things into existence. And I think we're very good at saying bad things about each other and thinking bad things about ourselves. So I don't think you need to profess that to the world, though. But I think if you want to just do that internally to build yourself, then I don't have a problem with it.
It would be great if they said something internally like, I'm a good person. How about that? See, when you, that's what I mean. When you overly go out of your way to say a queen, we're gods. Like, come on now. Now you just, and then here's the thing. If you are going to give these terms to yourself, shouldn't you have to live up to them? Why would a man be able to say I'm a good husband while he's out cheating on his wife? Would that make any sense?
Well, I don't know if you've ever heard, like, for affirmations, you'll say something like, I am smart, I am successful, I am a go-getter, for example. And so the goal of an affirmation is to think something into existence. So I'm not saying that's why people are doing it. Maybe that's why some people are doing it. But I would say if it's used in that way, I suppose, and what queen means could vary to different people.
But they have to be, what is the Bible? What's your Bible tell you? Faith without works is dead.
Well, that's true.
You can't just go around saying, I think something. I think I'm going to be skinny. I think I'm skinny while eating a tub of Haagen-Dazs. Come on. Now you're selling something I want to allow you to sell to my people. I'm with you for half of it, but not that whole just say it to yourself and it'll happen. No,
the goal would be to self-affirm and then put action behind it. So yes, self-affirming alone is not going to improve something. There has to be action. But sometimes it's like putting Post-it notes or a goal board up or something like that. If you're really working toward that goal, constantly reminding yourself, like, this is where I want to be, this is where I'm going, can help keep people motivated. Some people work that way. But again, I don't know where that came from or why people are doing that exactly.
Self-affirmations are like New Year's resolutions. The people make the same New Year's resolution every year and they don't do it. You need to do it. Saying it doesn't make it so. If you were with a man who kept saying, I promise you I ain't gonna cheat, and then he cheated, you're not gonna give him credit for telling you he wasn't gonna cheat. I swear to God, I know you won't. There's no way you're gonna say, well, at least he said it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if the follow through of just general people, like the average person, was good, then the world would be a totally different place. So we know that follow through is just hard for people in general.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I won't give you calling yourself a god while you're out selling drugs to your community. I won't give you calling yourself a god while you going around calling women B's and H's every 5 seconds. Gods don't need to do that. Gods, if you're going to call yourself a king, then you need to carry yourself like one. So I'd like to see you behead a couple people. I like
Can't he just rule the kingdom?
I'd like to see you ride in on a chariot. I like to see you do a few things that kings do. If you ain't gonna do that, then stop saying it. Let me go to another phone call. 718, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Tommy.
What's going on? Y'all stop speaking to me. It's 2 people on the line. How y'all doing?
Can you hear me?
Yes. How about say how y'all doing? Well, I'm glad to be on the show. Stop disrespecting the co-host.
Good to see both of you guys. I just have a few things I want to say. I was getting a little upset with some of the people that were coming up on here saying some crazy stuff, man. One is blaming a black man for why they wear weaves. 2, a perm is not something that you do 24 hours a day, 14 days a year, 24 hours a day,
7 days a week,
days a year.
I know you were struggling with them days. He said 14 hours a day. I'm confused.
I want to say, I can't even get it out. You know,
I had that problem. That's why I got these kids. But go ahead.
No.
Someone said that their hair is a curse. I couldn't believe that. How could your hair be a curse if you're supposedly the first on the planet?
Yeah,
This really
that was a
doesn't make
ridiculous
sense.
statement that hair is a curse and that they can't grow it. And yet I'm watching the NFL right now on the TV behind me, and every one of these cornerbacks and running backs got hair down to their back. So don't tell me black folks can't grow hair when you got Snoop Dogg with hair down his back.
Speaking of Snoop, I used to grow my hair like Snoop. I'm a man with some real nappy hair, down south roots, part Jamaican in my blood, and my hair grew. I combed it, I blew dry it, braided it, came out of my shoulders. It's just the fact that I'm sorry to say, a lot of black women too lazy.
That's
lazy.
what it
They
is.
don't want to get up, do the work that's necessary for their hair to grow. They don't want to take care of it. They want to slap a weave on, have it on all year round, tearing up my pillows when they come to visit. Off limits now. And you know what I mean with the corn crunchy feet smells, and it's ridiculous. It's almost like they're rebelling against mankind. I don't understand what's going on, man.
So do you believe it's do you believe it's a form of self-hate?
I believe it's ignorance. I believe it's somewhat a jealousy too of other races, and I think they gave up. I hate to say I love my black women. I think they gave up. I don't know what to do. I have sisters. I have 3 sisters, and I preach to them the same way. They don't even wear weaves like that, but when I go outside, I'm in New York, Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan. It's sickening. I don't know what to say to them. Love them, can't help them. Facts.
Hey, I honestly think, and I'll let Irene jump in on this. I think honestly that I know I love black women, but I don't think they love us.
Ooh.
I think that's the issue. I don't think they love us because they're not trying to impress us. They're trying to impress other people. They know we like them pretty much however they present themselves. They're trying to impress someone else other than us.
I hear you. I have to go out and I have to blend in with the corporate world myself. But I don't have an Indian man's or white man's wig in my drawer. I can slap on my head and go and mix up with the people. I don't do it. You know, I don't do it because the woman says, "Hey, your hair should be looking like his," or you know, some Indian guys. It look better on you. No, I don't believe black men said that. I think when the black women say that, they're lying. It's just that they have this fixation and they can't let go.
Right, because we know black women run around dating dudes because they extra light skin and got so-called good hair. That still doesn't change the way I wear mine. We understand that's what they like. We understand that the what was he called? The felon that was the light-skinned felon that they fell in love with because he was so handsome, even though he was an actual felon. They fell in love with him because he light-skinned with gray eyes and he can give them a baby with good hair. They fell in love with the dude from what's that TV show? The Jesse Williams. I forgot the TV show he's in, Grey's Anatomy or whatever the crap it was. But him, they fell in love with him because he got gray eyes and so-called good hair. And you still don't see black men walking around saying, "Well, let me put in gray contacts and put this weave in my head so I can get the same kind of chicks that dude is getting." We play our lane and women don't. And that's the problem. Black women show us over and over again that they love everything other than us. And yet we still remain us.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I have trouble. I have problems sometimes getting dates myself, but I refuse to artificialize myself with like some friends. They got fake eyes and they trying to wave up their hair and I'm real. I'm a total black nigga, and that's just what it is. If you don't like it too bad, I keep it stepping. I got honor for myself. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Problem is,
if more women could do that,
to our women, but I don't think they want to do it. That's the problem.
If more women could do that, I think the black community would be better. Thank you so much for the call, young man. What do you think about what he said, Ari?
Yeah, I think that women try to impress men. I don't know if women get ready and are like, today I'm going to impress a black man or today I'm going to impress a white man. I think women get ready, and because we know that we're judged by our physical appearance, we do either in a disordered way if we're disordered or in a healthier way if we're healthy. whatever we think is going to make us beautiful, because we know that part of the package of being female is to be attractive.
Yeah, but why do they think then that beauty is non-black?
So again, like I said, if you're coming from a disordered place, then you're going to be disordered, right? And if you're coming from a healthy place, then you're going to be healthy with that. So, you know, for some people who have a more disordered thinking, who don't feel that they're at their peak beauty, simply presenting as they are, they might feel that their peak beauty is presenting as another woman. But like we were discussing earlier, it actually does more harm than good, because there's nothing like having a blonde weave in your hair standing next to a naturally blonde woman to make you look absolutely foolish.
I saw it the other night, and I want to ask you this question then. How many of you guys have found it quite odd that whenever a black woman is dating another black woman, the woman who is supposed to be the man will be natural, the woman who's the girl will have a weave? So that should tell you something. The woman who's the man somehow will have long locks or whatever it is, but it'll be long. She won't have an issue doing it. So why is it that the masculine one will be natural and the feminine one will still have weave? Do you have an answer for that?
You threw me off when you said when a black woman was with another woman, I got lost. I was like, what are you talking about? Did you misspeak? I don't know. I mean,
that's why I said the masculine one and the feminine one.
I know. Then I caught up, but I was lost for a minute there. Let me tell you, I cannot delve in. Like, that's confusion on top of confusion. Like, you're asking me to analyze and unpack too much.
But it should make you think, though. It should make you think. What would make the masculine one be natural? That goes back to what my point was, that as a black man, we're comfortable in our skin. And in order for them to emulate us, they have to emulate the entire package.
I think maybe part of it also is that, and this could be looked at a different way, since men aren't judged by their appearances and natural black hair is considered to be unattractive by many black women, that the male or masculine woman is comfortable wearing her natural hair because she's not trying to be attractive.
But she still does it, and black women will sit there and when you say nobody cares about how a man does his hair, that's not true. Barbershops wouldn't make that much money if that was true.
I said nobody cares how attractive a man is. I mean, don't get me wrong, attractive men, I'm sure there's some benefit to that, but overall, women are very forgiving on looks, whereas men are far less forgiving.
Yes, if you got money. You have to supplement that. Just like men are very forgiving on looks. If you got a body, there's a lot of ugly girls who still get attention because they got a nice shape. I can't forgive your ugly shape if you got an ugly face.
Yeah, or if they have a good personality, they, you know.
I don't like your personality that much. The personality could go.
No. For the men, not the women. I know women can be dumb as a doornail and have no personality and be good looking and still get men, which is just pathetic, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, look, we have different needs. IP standing up, you sit down. We different. You bleed for 3 to 7 days a month. I don't. We're different.
True.
So our needs are different. I'm if you hear a bump in the night in the house, you expect me to go downstairs and check on it, not me expecting you. We're different.
True.
If you move in the house with your mom right now with 2 kids, people are still accept it and understand it. If I move in the house with my mom, even if I bought the house, they still talk crap.
Yeah, you can't live with your mom.
Tell my mom, I'm thinking about moving back home, mama, just so you know. I'm thinking about moving back home. She said, to be a queen, you don't have to have a king. The Queen of Sheba in the Bible didn't have a king. Didn't Sheba have a king and then he died?
Well, Queen Elizabeth.
Right. Well, here's the thing. You move into royalty because of a royal bloodline.
Yeah.
And the only reason that a queen ascended was because there was no king there. Just like in the Bible, the only time a woman is supposed to be a pastor is because there's no man there to do it.
Yeah, we're not supposed to teach.
That's what I'm saying. But my mom said, why is hair so important to us as a people? Answer that for her, and then we'll go to the next call. Why do you think hair is so important to us as people?
Well, I think hair is important to all women, but I think for Black women, we have a sordid history with our hair. You have to remember there used to be laws in some places that we couldn't adorn our hair, that we had to keep it covered. Often in slavery, the woman's hair was shorn. The division between mixed persons and Black persons and what was preferable. Like there's just a long history that people have continued to perpetuate, even though we're not in those situations anymore. And I think the normal concern with hair and appearance that women have has just been amplified by the unhealthy perpetuation of these issues that are from hundreds of years ago, and we honestly just need to get over.
I like it. I like it. Ladies and gentlemen, the number is 213-943-3362. Going to answer a few more phone calls here. So let's go over to the next phone call. I'm having a lot of fun with these people's phone calls, to be honest. And the lines are packed. Like, this is crazy. I might have to end up doing another show about this later on tonight with a real Black woman, since you're not considered real Black. But I don't know what they mean.
I don't know either. I mean,
I don't know what they mean, but I need to I'm gonna get a hood chick on here with some tricolor wig and let her explain from her position. So let's go to 773 Chicago in the building. What's up?
Yo, what's up, Tommy?
Talk to us.
I called in. I've been listening to the show, but what made me call in because the Black lady who called in and said that she got the kinky, whatever type of hair, I don't know, and she was questioning Irene. So, hey to you, Irene and Tommy. And I wanted to say BS because I hate when Black women say, oh, because I wear natural hair, I only could attract white men. No, you wear natural hair because you know white men ain't finna do it with it. You already know white men, unless she like
no. She didn't say no. She didn't say she wears white natural hair to attract white men. She said when she went natural, less Black men would talk to her.
No, I misspoke, but I said that they don't wear the weave because unless you date a white guy who's quote unquote trying to act Black, he's not going to accept that from you. He's not going to accept that you wearing this weave and all this crazy colors in your hair.
No, he wears it. So, he accepts the weave. He just don't accept the crazy colors. White man is not going to let you embarrass him at his board meeting or wherever it is he's going with that crap in his head. But there are Black women who date white men who have a head full of weave. It just is. It looked like Irene's hair be straight black like that.
Yeah, it's not like
it's not crazy. Only Black men accept like, crazy crap.
Yeah, it's not like down to your butt. It ain't like 15 different colors. And I just don't like when I don't just like because to me it sounds like BS. I'm sure that maybe I don't know if Black men would talk lesser to Black women because they got natural hair. I don't see it, but I'm just not gonna say that you're a liar. But it don't make sense to say that due to me having natural hair, I can't find a Black man.
No, she didn't say she couldn't. And now see, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you to not do what the women do. Don't say things the person didn't say in order to bolster your argument. Women do that. As men, we're only supposed to deal with facts, and we need to teach them to deal with facts. She did not say what you just said. I'll repeat what she said, and please then deal with what she said. Do not misrepresent the woman's quote, the woman's words. She said when she went natural, less Black men were trying to talk to her. That's all she said.
Okay. But how the way you're right, she did say that, but how the way it came off, it sounded like, because I'm going natural, that's the only thing I can't find. Or that's what's coming to me as being, that's what's the
well, she's saying if that's the only thing that changed, like, brother, if you got women when you had a job and you had a house, and the only thing that changed was you no longer had a job, and now you're not getting women, why would you think it was something else when everything else has remained the same? Come on, this is called a scientific experiment, man. And the only thing that changed was her hair. Now, I will say
so
this.
Do you think that's...
Hold on. I will say this.
Oh, no,
probably behind on that, usually when they change their hair, they change their attitude. I said at the beginning, their hairstyle, because when a woman's left the salon, no matter what hairstyle she has, her confidence is different. She feels like things have been done. She got a cape on. So I get it. I believe that this woman went natural and automatically was preparing for people to treat her different. Hence, they did. Some things are self-fulfilling prophecies.
I was waiting for your co-host to say something.
I've been waiting for her to say something too.
Oh, okay.
But you look good just sitting there, so I don't know.
I don't want to interrupt anybody because the last time I was like interrupting the caller. So this is what I'll have to say. I already said when that caller called in that I do agree with her that it does seem, and I think the reason that people of other ethnicities prefer Black women with natural hair goes back to what I was saying, is that it is unique and exotic to the Black woman. And so they're attracted to Black women. And so when they see that feature, that just adds the attraction, you know, it's just something that's exotic and different from what they're used to. And so I think that might be what she experienced. It's possible that she had some intimidation, like Tommy was saying, thinking that she would be treated differently. And then she attracted that different attention based on some subconscious way that she was carrying herself. That is very possible. But I do think, even though it may not be your personal experience, as I said, spoke to my own experience. I literally had a man tell me once, and he could have been joking, but I don't know. It was just a weird thing to say, that, you know, if my hair wasn't wavy, do you know what I mean? He would feel differently, but I've got good hair. So I do know, especially nowadays, and this might be a controversial thing to say, that a woman of my complexion, you know, not too dark, not too light, with wavy hair is the preferred Black girl look. Do you know what I mean? And I think that is essentially what that caller was trying to say, is that with my 4C hair, I'm not the preferred Black girl look. And if we all had hair like yours, this wouldn't even be an issue. That's what she was saying.
So, but I'm just putting y'all two different Black women. I assume y'all from two different states, but it's ironic that both y'all wearing natural hair and both y'all, I guess, I don't want to say sound white, so I'm going to say what Tommy say, has a valley grass.
I can't do it right.
And
yeah, you got 2 Oreos on the show. I feel you, dog. These Oreos are taking over.
I can't.
They really are. But it's ironic that both of y'all have natural hair and have the Valley Girl accent, but date white men. So it do sound like it's correlate with each other. It's like, okay, I went natural, and now I don't know.
That's why I'm mad at white men, because they get the best Black women. They get the ones that speak like they got some common sense.
I just gotta turn on a fan. I'm so hot. Hold on.
Yeah, we don't get the ones that talk like this, and no, we don't get that one. No, we don't get him. We get the hood
that's
chick.
What I was trying to say earlier. That's what I was trying to say earlier in the conversation. It's like, it's ironic. Okay, you go natural, now you got the Valley accent, and now you got a white guy. That's why I said. First you get the hair, then you get the voice, then you get the...
No, but wait, stop. Because first of all, I'm not from the Valley, okay? Second, I'm from San Francisco. Second of all, I've always spoken this way. Thank you very much. But I like your drawing lines and connections. You're trying to figure out the method, you know, it's the formula, but that's a mess.
I'm not. Yeah, we hate. I want a Black girl with a Valley accent.
Yes, I want one too.
We're gonna treat me like.
I'm gonna take you seriously. Maybe what it is, you know, because for example, you're told you're talking white and things like that. It's possible. I'm not saying this is the case, but it's possible that there's a group of Black men who don't appreciate education, proper English, natural hair. They don't appreciate that type of woman more. Now, what I will say in my personal experiences, educated, affluent Black men like me, and non-educated Black men who are not affluent think I'm stuck up. So it could be that too, right? It could be.
They feel like they can't get you, so that's why they call you stuck
Yeah,
up.
they
The only time we call you stuck
women-
up, only time I call you stuck up is when you won't give me none. You stuck up.
Yeah. If I can't you and try to hide it,
I can't.
I'm accepting. But if you did, I'm like, man, fuck her. She's stuck up. That's what I'm about. It's not like, oh, look at her. She got that Viagra. So I'm not gonna date her. Ew. No, he's not saying that because I'm pretty sure when he comes to you, you probably denied him, and that's when he called you. First you get the hair. Then you get the voice. Then you get the white man. I'm just joking with you. But it's the truth. It's the truth. As a Black man who likes Black women, and I like women of all different cultures, it's hard for us, as a Black man, to find a white, not a white woman, a Black woman who acts right. When I say act right, I mean act like she got a good personality, she's loving, she's caring. That's hard for a Black man to find. But once you get the natural hair, you get the valley girl accent, and then you change your attitude, you get the white guy. And I'm outside looking in, like, damn, that look nice. I kind of want that.
Right. We want what the white man to get to. Thank you, man, for the phone call.
Yeah, I kind of want what the white man got.
Yeah, I want what the white man got. I'm jealous of the white man. I'm tired of him getting the best of the best. He just reach in and get the best. He get the biggest lobster. He get the largest bass. He get it all. You don't see a white man walking around with the crap that we have to walk around with every day. You don't. He won't take it. But you know what that says, caller? Maybe we need to up our standards. Not the woman's fault if we keep accepting them. Maybe if we started denying them like Miss Irene would deny the thug, then maybe we could tell them they stuck up.
I can't. Listen, Tommy brings up a good point though. Like, and I've said this many times, like for women who aren't submissive, for, women who are confrontational, won't take leadership. And this could be applied to weaves too. This could be applied to all behaviors in women. The reality of things is if men aren't giving them sex and dates and attention, they will be real quick. I mean, I always point out that one crazy chick that you broke up with that couldn't let go. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That behavior in women is what men could use to manipulate how we move in the world. Because at the end of the day, we're going to pander to whatever men will or won't accept. If we could just not cook, not clean, not be submissive, wear 5 colors of weave in our hair, if we could do all that, be loud, be obnoxious, and you're still going to have sex with us, we could still get a date, taken out to dinner, we can still get a husband. Why change? Why bother? Because you're getting what you want. So we have to stop getting what we want, and women will behave correctly.
He's right, 1,000%. Let's see if we can go to some more phone calls and see if we can get something that's entertaining as that. 504, caller, you're on the line. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Tommy? And Miss Irene.
Go ahead. She busy texting. She ain't got time for us.
I must start by saying, like, you know how back in the 60s, men had our hair, we used to perm our hair too. So it's something deeper than that shit too, also. That's why we let it go, because men used to do the crap too. Mm-hmm. I mean, we had Little Richard, the 5 Heartbeats, the Temptations. So we was part of that BS of trying to look like white people also. Mm-hmm. Those were like the biggest singers and groups that got the chicks and all that other stuff like that. And so that's some selfish with being honest also.
Yeah, but you can't say you can't talk about what we was. We were once slaves too. We were. There's a lot of things we was. I get that you're saying we did it, but what are we doing today? Because we're trying to bring everybody up to today's standards. There was a time when $5 an hour was a lot of money.
Yeah, but also, you know, the 90s, you had the Jericho.
That's an 80s thing. That ain't the 90s.
Yeah, but like when you were to New York, that's actually how I kind of I got on to you. Not because you got sucker punch like the bitch ass nigga that did it, but they had some Israelites that you walked into, and there was agreeing with you. It was like everything you said is actually correct, and they also say a black woman should, if she want natural hair, she should get natural products, stop getting the perms and stuff. Because if you gonna go natural, you gotta have like argan oils and all these other stuff that's naturally done to your hair. And
look,
it's
them
better.
Israelite dudes love me.
Like
the only
anywhere,
dudes that don't like me are them fake pro-blacks. And the reason they don't is because they're trying to shoot. They know that talking to these hood black chicks is like shooting fish in a barrel. All you got to do is call them kings and queens. All you got to do is call them queens. Tell them they're the most beautiful women on the earth. Get their child support money sent to you because they're going to buy you a little stupid book. And then you get to sleep with as many of them if you want. Because if you ever noticed, none of these pro-black dudes got a wife. How they love black women so much and ain't married.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, but that's the kind of stuff that the Israelites are on more. Kind of like another thing about the pro-blacks, they into all of the Egypt stuff. Egypt got so much homosexuality into it that they actually don't want to admit it. Like I seen a debate where they was pointing out two of the guys, Seth raped Horus, and that's his actual nephew. That's what the Egyptians did to the people they went to war with.
Well, you got to ask yourself too, why is it that pro-blacks only, you got to ask yourself too, why do pro-blacks only kiss up to the mixed blacks or the ones who don't even call themselves blacks? You're always talking about Egypt, but you're never talking about the Sudan. They're always talking about the blacks who don't look black and keep identifying with the blacks who don't look black. That makes no sense. They never talk about Nigeria. They just talk about Egypt. There's something wrong with that.
That's so true. I actually did a video.
Because I'm in I guess you could sound more Israelite than Egypt, and I work with a dude that's in the chemist. He talks about the science and stuff of it. But I'm like, the Egyptians, they used to bleach their skin. That was actually found in their stuff. They wore all the makeup, and they actually had hair weaves. Like they put fake hair on them.
Yeah, they would put wig, but it was different. It was because of lice and stuff like that. So it was different. Go ahead. You were going to say something, Irene. Irene was going to address what you said.
Yeah, I actually did a video on Can't Black People Let Go of Egypt? And I got drugged because I pointed out civilizations that were greater than Egypt, civilizations in some cases that had conquered Egypt, and said, why don't we focus on all these other huge black civilizations? One of the greatest civilization in the world other than the Western Empire was in Africa. But we don't ever talk about that. We're so obsessed with Egypt. And I think that is so weird and backward. And I don't understand that. Again, like Tommy said,
Ethiopia has never been conquered, ever.
But yeah, but we don't want to talk about that. We want to, we're obsessed with Egypt. And the pyramids are cool and that's cute and everything, but there were other great black civilizations. One of the largest libraries in the world was on the coast of Africa. So, but we don't talk about those things. And we have to look at why that is. And when I mentioned that in the video, everybody kept obsessing over Egypt and just completely glossed over the 10, 15 civilizations that I pointed out for them that they could look to other than Egypt.
Well, because those people are too black, Irene. Do you understand? I'm a 42-year-old man still getting called crispy by a 50-year-old man.
But he's pro-black.
Man is claiming he's pro-black.
But he's pro-black. But he doesn't like your dark skin.
Yes, and literally, it's not just him. You have a audience full of his people who will say, "Yeah, he's crispy." This one dude who's married to a white woman who used to be my biggest fan, he's now making videos calling me crispy, so much so to the point that a white woman called in his show and also called me crispy. This is how much black people hate black people. That's all that is. Go ahead, young man.
Yeah, and like I would say Irene is almost a perfect black woman for us. If we want to like do better as a people. I ain't saying perfect, but you're getting there. Because I see you debate time a little bit. I'm like, oh, you lost me on some stuff. But yeah, like she's into the Bible. She's
growing.
Like I can't even call her I can't call her a bitch or nothing because I'm like, I thought I'd even call a black woman a bitch in a second. I really can't call her a bitch. I say Miss Irene when I call. I'm like, I can't holler at her because she's engaged or married. And as an Israelite, we respect that. That's a problem that we got. We want what somebody else got. That's why we always felt God killed David's first son because it was born out of adultery. Because David killed
Yeah, he put him on the front lines, baby. He put him on the front lines.
Yeah, he killed Bathsheba's husband, lusting over his wife. Yeah.
He said, "Yeah." Now I respect marriages, but if you haven't crossed the finish line, I think I still might be able to beat you. If you cross the finish line, I'm gonna give you the trophy. If you still running, you might be in front of me, but I'm gonna keep on running. I'm gonna try to run you down, pimp.
I can't with it.
But I still want you to watch that BET documentary of like 1997, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the Israelites in Israel, and that's like they went there in the 60s and they stayed in Israel for just the 60s. And they're a day. They have natural births. They like vegan. They never had any diabetes or anything like that. So I'm like, if you really look at this culture, they got together on something that's been known that we are supposed to have, like the Bible. Kim ain't doing nothing for nobody. The Egypt stuff ain't doing nothing. Like, you got to find something that's going to actually work. And you can see people that actually did something and it worked for them. But that's what I wanted to say. And this black hair stuff, it's too demented. Like,
be quick.
Like we also say, you putting another person's hair in your hair. If you cut somebody's hair off in the dead flesh, the Bible says you're not supposed to do that. So that's why we say, like an Indian person, they got like 365 guys. Like you got a woman that's worse than that many guys, and you put that in your head, of course you gonna be crazy and stuff.
Well, that's
just like all the purge and stuff.
Well, that's the thing, and I thank you for the phone call. I'm gonna throw this at you, Irene. Why do we not even talk about how unsanitary it is? Like, if I wore the same drawers 5 days out of a 7-day week, somebody would think I was disgusting. So why is it okay for you to stick that crap in your head, though, that came off of another human being? Now, if my homeboy came over to my house and spent the night, and he was like, "Oh man, I didn't bring no drawers," and I was like, "Oh, you can wear a pair of mine." Now my drawers have been washed or bleached if they white, whatever it is, they clean. People would still find that nasty if he wore my underwear. So why is it that him wearing my cleaned underwear isn't nasty, but you taking the hair off of a corpse a lot of times and putting it over your hair and wearing it for weeks at a time is not considered unsanitary?
Yeah, well, honestly, I could get more with the not washing it part than the off another person's head part, just because after they throw all those chemicals and crap in it, it's the person whose head it came off of doesn't even matter. It's the 15 trillion things they did to that hair before you attach it to your head that are more the problem. But as far as not upkeeping it, again, I think that's a major problem because most women aren't going to the salon to get that properly cared for. And most women aren't wearing sew-ins even, which would probably be a more sanitary way. Most women, because it's the cheapest way, most Black women are gluing this stuff onto their head. And that is a real problem. That adds levels to the unsanitary. You can get bacteria, fungus, where that glue is bonded to your head because it's kind of like tacky, like plasticky. So it actually can be very unsanitary. And if you are getting a smell, it's probably because she has it bonded to her hair and not sewn in, which is the more expensive way, but doesn't look as natural. So I think, yeah, my issue would be less with whose head it came off of, and it would be more with all the chemicals that they process that stuff with. And then it would then second to that be that it's just hard to maintain that. Even when you go to the salon and have it washed, it takes hours for that to dry because even with braids, it's a thick braid, then it's something sewn on top of it. Like that's a whole process that can become very unsanitary if it's not done correctly. And most women are not putting that money in to have that maintained correctly.
Good girl, like that answer. Let's see. This is look like somebody from out of the country because I ain't never seen that many numbers. Caller, you heard the beep. Who is this?
Hey Tommy, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
How are you doing, Tommy? It's Andre. I'm calling from the UK.
Nice.
My issue is, listen, you're 100% correct on the self-hate. It is self-hate, no matter how a black woman tries to defend it, or Cynthia G. But as much as you want black
shots
women
being
to be
fired, shots being fired. He done brought up Synthetic G. Go ahead.
Well, listen, as much as you want black women to be honest about it, I think you have to be honest yourself, in the sense of, when has pop culture ever celebrated the black woman? No, scrap that. When has pop culture ever celebrated black skin? It's always celebrated the talent. It's never ever, the skin just happens to come with it.
Well, hold on.
It.
Let me
You said
point
it a
something
while
out to
back.
you. There's a lot of really dark-skinned women who've been considered supermodels by the white world and have been laughed at in the black world. Did you know amongst white people, Grace Jones was considered a supermodel? Amongst black people, she was just considered ugly and manly?
Well, like you always say again, there are outliers, and that means exceptions to the rule.
Yes.
But when it comes to, on a majority sense, when it comes to a majority sense, you said it a while back, black men can date 3 times out of their race than black women. And the only reason why we can is because when it comes to pop culture, right, you've got what? Music, sports, fashion, media, maybe something else. But when it comes to the NFL, I mean, when it comes to basketball in America, I don't see no white LeBron James. But I guarantee if there was a white man tomorrow who could do what LeBron James could do in the same category, the dominant society won't be talking about Michael Jordan and him anymore. They'll be propping up that white person.
No, you're right.
As black men, force ourselves. Huh?
No, I was saying you're right. You're 100% right. If there was a white man that could do what LeBron James could do, he would be huge.
Yeah, they would prop him up. So when it comes down to it, we as black men, we force ourselves on the main platforms, i.e., if there's no white Michael Jackson, there's no Chris Brown, there's no white Chris Brown, there's no white Usher, there's no one that can do it the way we do it. So we force ourselves on the platforms that white people, or the dominant society, I should say, would rather see themselves. Now, you got to ask yourself another question. What do black women bring to the table that they can't get off Kim Kardashian or Zendaya? So what you're looking at is, let's keep it honest. Me and you, I'm a dark-skinned black man just like you. Just try and deep the idea of being a dark-skinned black woman, waking up, you go on your phone on IG, all you see is Kim Kardashian thrown in your face every day. You walk the street, there's billboards of white women with makeup. You go on the adverts, most TV presenters, majority of white scents. Yeah? What that must do to the self-esteem of a black woman. Now, even when the black woman is at her ideal best, i.e. what they class as the synthetic hairing and all that stuff, they're still second and third chosen over Zendaya or Kim Kardashian.
Wow,
but now we want them to take that out. We now want them to take that out of their head, and we think that's going to make them admire more. The truth is, pop culture dictates what people do. That's in a perfect world, black women and black men should only care what black people do. But the truth is, we don't. We want to be. Black women are just like any other white or mixed woman. They want attention. So when the world is glamorizing Kim Kardashian, think about it. Kim Kardashian was a white woman who slept with a black celebrity, and then a decade later, she became a billionaire. Let a black woman with 3 plaits in her head sleep with a white celebrity, and let's see if she becomes a billionaire. It would never happen. Black women are not celebrated, but yet we expect them to somehow find the power to take that out of their head. Because let's be honest, Tommy, they are trying to compete. The self-esteem shot to bits as it is, but we're somehow trying to make them.
But no. I look. The reason I haven't said anything because you're killing it. I ask a lot of people to challenge me.
I thought you.
No, I ask a lot of people to challenge me, and some people just can't do it. You are challenging what I've been saying, and whenever somebody can put me in my place, I listen because you're 100% right. They don't have a reason, but I don't know if you remember the shows when I said it's easier being a dark-skinned black man than it is being a dark-skinned black woman. It's easier because all we got to do is get money and power, and we will get looked at as a part of the dominant society. Black women can't do that.
So
Tommy, the reason why I'm from hello, I'm from Britain. Yeah, I can sleep with the world of white women over here. Interracial dating runs rampant over here. The reason being is because black men like me are shown on the TV. Black women ain't being used, so it's a case of let me be honest. Me and yourself, we wouldn't be able to date at the levels we did if we didn't force ourselves on the platform. Serena Williams, deep down, white people don't want to celebrate her. They've got no choice because she keeps winning. They would rather celebrate Anna Kournikova because they know that it's easier to sell a white person to white people than it is.
Yeah, but that goes back to. But doesn't that go back to wait? That now you're treading on your own argument. You said that we as black men forced ourselves to do something, and you said if white people could find a white Michael Jordan, they'd have him doing it. Then you said that they won't do it for Serena, but she forced herself on. It's the same argument, because let me tell you, when you look at what they're doing to Meghan Markle, the whole Meghan Markle argument was because she got a white man, even though she looked white. But once black people accepted her as black, that's when the blow up happened. That's when she's the best thing since sliced bread. Remember, the only reason Kim Kardashian got as big as she is because black people accepted her first. Same thing with Justin Timberlake. We give these people credence because if black people said Justin Timberlake sucked, white people wouldn't have fucked with him. We determine what's cool and what's not. We do it with Eminem. If black folks didn't say Eminem was a good rapper, nobody would have said he was a good rapper, because when we say MC Hammer sucked, white people then said MC Hammer sucked. It's us.
So
hold on a second. Let Irene speak. Irene wants to say something to you. Go ahead, Irene.
Sure.
I just want to interject just with a couple of things. I think you brought up a lot of good points, but I kind of disagree with some and just have some things to add to others. First and foremost, to say that black men collectively have forced themselves into any position is just not true. There was already a pre-existing belief that black men were strong, virulent, and all of that from slavery. And those are just masculine traits. And then because athletically, black people are often superior and male sports are the most prevalent, a select few of black men push their way up. But we already know that there's no collective benefit to individual black people accomplishing things, okay? There's just individual benefit. So the sexual moves that black men make in the world aren't necessarily because of athletes. Do you know what I mean? Now, with regard to black women,
that's not my argument.
With regard to black women,
I heard you, but I think she's gonna go to another argument, and then I'm gonna let you address her. So go ahead and finish, Irene.
With regard to black women, I think you have a good point in a way of what's being pushed in media and things like that. But to that, what I will say is this: media doesn't determine how we move. If you're a weak person, repetition of propaganda will determine how you make moves in the world. But if you are a person that knows yourself, you make moves not based on what's presented to you, but on what you truly believe, which is why I feel so many people are too weak to really engage in media, because they don't know how to separate being entertained from how they should act and behave in the world. I will also add this. Something that I watched, I listened to an interview that was done between Nyla Says and Rashida Strober, I think is her last name. And something that Rashida said is that she is begging. She was very open for black men to accept her type of beauty, dark-skinned black woman beauty, begging for black men. That's all she said. That's what my whole thing is about, is just getting black men to accept and love people who look like me. So I feel like we can't blame media. We can't blame what's pushed for how black women choose to portray themselves. We need to look at ourselves, because the media doesn't control you. After you turn that TV off, after you close your computer, after you put your phone down, you have to make individual choices as men and women in our lives. And if you can't separate people who get paid to entertain and propagandize you from real life and the decisions you make in real life, then there needs to be some further evaluation there than what's going on in media. maybe these people are spending too much time in media, and so they don't know how to make choices on their own. They only know how to emulate. They're living, breathing parrots. Some people are like that. They're like parrots. They can only spit out what they've assimilated. And some people are capable of thought and action that is uniquely their own. And we each need to decide what group we're going to sit in.
Go ahead, brother. Address what she said.
Oh, okay. And she said that it's based on people being weak rather than people being strong enough to not see the messages. And I don't mean to insult her. I'm not one of those people like that. But in a fairy tale land, that would be true. But unfortunately, the pop culture does dominate on people. And I'll just try and say this. Like, it's the whole idea of common sense, right? Common sense isn't actually common. It's got the word common in it, so everybody thinks it's common. The truth is, what the majority of the world has is what we call fickle sense. I'm going to believe whatever I want to believe at this precise moment, at this precise time, because it benefits me at that precise moment. Yeah? And then if you try and challenge those beliefs, yeah, and my feelings are hurt, I'm going to either call you racist, homophobe, Islamophobe, blah, 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 blah. And then if that doesn't work, I'm going to try and attack his sponsors. Kind of what Tommy goes through. Everybody knows Tommy isn't lying. We all know he's telling the truth. It's just that it can be somewhat embarrassing to the people that he's talking about, and we don't know how to actually swallow that pill, right? But when you think about it, he's not actually telling lies. That's like the majority of the world. They don't care about that individual person being strong. In a perfect world, what Tommy says to every black woman, he says, "Oh, listen, that's self-hate. Take out your hair." In a perfect world, they'll just go, "Yeah, you're right, Tommy," and take it out. But that's not going to happen. Yeah, you keep showing them that Kim Kardashian is the billionaire of sleeping with a black man, but yet a black woman couldn't do the same thing with a white man. It doesn't matter about what people are strong or thinking. We have to deal with reality. And reality is Western society is run by who? The dominant society. Not all white people, but the majority of white people. They dictate what gets in and what gets out. So because they dictate what gets in and gets out, it doesn't matter. We would want that black woman to somehow find the strength, and then all other black women follow that one woman with natural hair. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. We need to deal with the fact that black people in America and Britain and on this side of the earth, yeah, want the same. They want white people involved in this shit. They want Asian people involved in this shit. They don't just want black people. So it's all this good thing. We need to be strong and we need to be thinking. But the truth is, it's not going to happen. We are now in the social media era where we're going to have more midlife crisis people than anything in the next 20 years. Yeah, because everything is based on this fake reality where you turn on your phone and on IG, it's got all these superhumans all next to each other, page after page after page. But one thing IG doesn't tell you is that it's only one of them in America, then one of them in Russia. They put all these people together in front of you, making you think it's around the corner, and it's not. So we're getting more and more fickle. So by all means, madam, you can push that. Oh, we need to be stronger. We need to be level-headed.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
If it what's that, bro?
Yeah, here's the thing. The thing is this. You are right that the overwhelming majority of visible people act on a base level. But what I need to tell you is it doesn't need to be all. We watch societal norms change all the time. There was a time where women wouldn't have sex outside of marriage because it devalued them. And then now we have women who do nothing but have sex outside of marriage. Half of them don't want to get married. So it doesn't take all. It just takes a visible norm to happen. But then everything you're saying, I don't necessarily disagree with it, but I would say that this is why I encourage people to walk away from media. Because if you don't have the mental fortitude to engage in propaganda without assimilating it and without portraying it in your personal life, then you have to. And we also have to think about this. As individuals, we can make the choice to choose people of quality over what is most readily available. So there are many different ways to skin this cat. We can say, okay, many people will be base, and so those of us who are not base will choose to interact with each other. We can say we can attempt to reach enough people so that there's a large enough percentage of people doing things that we can create a change, because that is often done. We can say we can walk away from media influences that are portraying behaviors and stereotypes that are counterproductive to our culture. But to simply say and have a defeatist attitude that there's nothing we can do because people are just too simple-minded to not engage and this media is going to be out there, that's the one option that I just have a hard time choosing. Because here's the thing, all it is for people to give up the fight. Let's say Tommy walks away today. I'm not going to talk about weave. I'm not going to talk about the problem in the Black community. I'm just going to leave it alone. And everybody that thought like him that does walked away and just said, we're not going to discuss this anymore. Nothing's going to change. There would really be no chance of anything changing. So we cannot have a defeatist attitude.
I think what he's saying, and you can tell me if I'm right about this or not, brother. I think what he's saying though is not, we're just acknowledging what's there. And I think he's saying, if there is more than one hurdle, I want you to realize they're there, because if you don't, you're going to jump on a hurdle and then run into a wall. And that wall is you're not acknowledging that a lot of these Black girls, and that's why I let him speak. And again, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong about this. I think he's saying a lot of those Black girls are fighting an uphill battle that I may not be acknowledging. So it would be easier for them to understand if I acknowledged their fight. Because if I'm talking, like you remember when the girl said about your hair, and you remember you had to acknowledge that your fight's different. I think what he's saying is I need to acknowledge that the darker skinned female's fight is different, because society is telling her something completely different, that even if you as a parent, and this is what I fear, that no matter how much I tell my daughter how pretty she is, she's going to eventually want some penis. It ain't going to be mine. And when she wants that, you know what's going to happen? She's going to start listening to what the world is telling her will get it for her, instead of the fact that my dad says I'm pretty. You know, when dad says you're pretty and you become a woman, it don't mean as much, because you ain't trying to sleep with your dad. Go ahead, brother.
Put it this way. I live in Britain, right? I can go to a club tomorrow, yeah? The white women and mixed women, they can leave with any man they want. It's the men that usually have to chase women in natural talking terms. But the white women, the mixed women, if they just want to sleep with somebody, they can leave. I've seen Black women come to the club and pretty, ain't nobody talking to them. And they're a woman. It's a girl. You should want to talk to them regardless. But I've seen Black women struggle. And it's like, you're telling me that with all of the weaving and made breasts, and some of them have got amazing bodies, still ain't getting chosen over that skinny white woman in the corner because she's celebrated more on TV.
Well, I don't even think it's that, brother. I don't even think it's that, brother. I want to go a little bit farther. The dark-skinned girl can get sex if she's overly sexual, but then she gets tired of that because she's like, okay, so you approached me for sex off bat, but that white girl, you asked her to go on a date. And that's the problem. That, like with Rashida, everybody kept saying in the comment section, I'll sleep with Rashida. So that begins to hurt a woman's feelings, because it's like, well, yeah, anybody can get slept with. Hell, their dudes can get dudes to sleep with them. So that's not impressive. When you want something more and you're not getting it.
With you, Tommy. I think.
Go ahead.
Hello. I think that's an American thing over here. That's one thing I've always wanted to do one-on-one with you, because it's down here, because don't get me wrong, we're a smaller country. We're probably, you know what I mean? You could fit Britain in 11 of your countries, and you could fit every other state in Britain. The other states in Britain, it's a different way down there. Like you have all Black states and all white states. In Britain, the country's too small to separate us. Most Black people have had a white neighbor since they've been born. It's not the whole, even the Black women that are over-sexualized, they still struggle down here. And it's just like, I come from a multicultural part of England. But again, that's another discussion. I just feel like until pop culture celebrates Black women, yeah, black women ain't, it doesn't matter how much you tell them you need to be stronger and stuff like that. But every time, if you can tell her she can be strong all day long, but when she turns on that TV and then they see that white woman's being propped up, it don't matter what you say, Tommy. It don't matter what I say. You're fighting an endless battle. You know what I mean? The same way black women try and shame black men into dating them, it ain't going to work. You shaming them to take that off. Until pop culture, the fickle part, whatever that lady wants to say, that we shouldn't be looking at, it doesn't matter if we should be looking at it or shouldn't be looking at it. Until that celebrates the free part on a black woman's head, the black woman will always wear that weave, because even with that weave on the head, she's still first chosen over Zendaya or Kim Kardashian. So because of that, you think for 1 second she's taking that off and somehow she's supposed to be admired over Kim Kardashian or Zendaya? We're being disingenuous and we're lying to ourselves.
Well, no. Hold on. Now this is where this is where I agree with Irene. And then Irene, you can tell me if you're saying this. But we're not supposed to say I give up, because that's actually what they want you to do, is to say I quit. Just like with me.
That's true.
Do you understand that everybody's attacking me, my mom, my family, and everything else around me, not because what I'm saying is wrong, because they want to be made comfortable. The majority of human beings do not get mad because somebody's wrong. They get mad because you make them feel uncomfortable. That's it. There are many people who do some of the most disturbing things to themselves, but they've gotten so used to it, they're comfortable doing it. When you ask them to stop doing it, they'll fight you, even though that thing that you're asking them to do is easier than what they've done. The woman who's with a man who beats her will get mad if you try to explain to her she should leave, because she's gotten used to it. It's hard. The hardest thing for a human being to do is change. It is.
Yeah. And I think you're right with that last sentence. The hardest thing is for a human being to change, because I'm just going to reiterate my point again, because this is a pet peeve of mine. You said once again, because of pop culture, because when that woman turns on the TV, this and that, this is what she's going to be exposed to. And it concerns me when I say something as simple as, you're recognizing there's propaganda there, I'm recognizing there's propaganda there. The best idea would be not to support a system that is damaging to your psyche or the psyche of others. So it's not like, but wait a second. It's not like the TV is chasing you down with a gun and holding you down and making you watch it. Or social media is holding you hostage and making you click on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. We are making those choices. And for augmented realities, such as online reality is augmented as such as it responds to you. What you see is different from what I see online based on your personal desires. So we have a lot of control in this. It's not, pop culture is not running anything, because it can't make you participate. It can't make you engage and assimilate it. That's a personal choice.
She's right about that. They are pushing a lot of homosexual black men. Are you homosexual? I'm not. They're pushing it though.
No, but that's something that's being pushed, which is fairly new with all this LGBT stuff. Give it 20 years, yeah. When we die, Tommy, and everybody else has died, the majority of the world will be bisexual.
I agree with that
people
too.
that will be born into it and think it's normal. Hence why these black women today, of my generation, I'm 30 years old, the majority of black women that were born in my era, they saw it as the norm. It wasn't back, that they didn't grow up in the era of the Black Panther when everyone had the hands up with the wig. They saw, hands up with the afro. Everyone around, black women are wearing weaves. I've been watching you for the last 5 years. I didn't even realize black women with the idea of, I always knew it was fake hair, but I didn't realize it was self-hate until you said it. It's not until I heard you say it that made me realize, Jesus Christ, it is. So if I only realized it then, imagine the black woman who's actually doing it and you said it to them. That's like in the heart. It's like, Jesus Christ. I don't actually like myself. This is why Cynthia G's got quick to call gay. She can't deal with the fact that, Jesus Christ, I'm criticized. Look like one. That's as much as you and her go back and forth. That's painful for her deep down. That's why she'll throw abuse at you, because the truth is painful. If the truth was easy, everybody would be
happy and dull, but the truth is painful for a reason. So you've got an uphill battle. You're doing it, but before I took a lot of your time. I just want to say
I've allowed you two have been going down.
George,
you guys have been going back and forth, and I'm literally going to cut this out because you guys both have been making really good points. It's fun to watch it. So go ahead. I'm going to let her respond to you because y'all have been doing great. I've agreed and disagreed.
I'll say this last segment, yeah?
Yeah.
Hello? I'll
go
say
ahead.
this last segment, yeah? Okay. In Britain, I can't speak for America, but in Britain, since I've been born, I thought Jesus was a blue-eyed, blonde-haired white man because that's what was promoted to me. Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man were the superheroes that were celebrated to me. As a kid, I didn't know who the Black Panther was or Luke Cage was, yeah? On the adverts for the kids, the doll that was promoted to me was Barbie. The male doll that was promoted to me was Ken. When it came to cartoons, if it wasn't an animal, if it was a human being, the main protagonist in cartoons was a white male. Yeah. Computer games, PS4, SNES, whatever. There's over 1 million games. Yeah. I can't even name you 10 where the black person is the main character being celebrated. Every walk of life that we see, yeah, apart from the things that we dominate in because we forced ourselves in those positions, everything else has been used to celebrate white people. So what it doesn't make that black. Hello?
No, I'm just listening.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, it keeps like tripping out like I thought you were saying something. What that does to that black child, whether it's a black woman or a black girl or a black boy, what it does is it doesn't make us want to have white skin. It makes us want to have the benefits of being white. So as much as black women try and say, oh, you should date us, you shouldn't date that white woman. Of course, if a white man were into them as much as white women into us, they'd be gone in a minute. They'd be gone. This is why when a black woman gets with a white celebrity, it gets praised because deep down, we know they're being hypocrites. They just want the same affection we get. But society doesn't celebrate black women the way black men are celebrated because, again, that's not anybody's fault. We just bring something to the table, whether it's dancing, yeah, whether it's singing or whether it's athletics. We're just more in demand in that sense, in that sort of thing, than black women are. It's just the same way. You take a talentless black person, a talentless mixed person, a talentless white person to do a TV show. They're always going to lean to the mixed and white person. But if they've got the black person who just smashes it, they're going to be forced to take that black person. They don't really want to use us first anyway.
Well, and that goes back to, and I want to say thank you so much. I'm gonna let Irene respond back to you, and then see if I can sneak a couple more in here. And guys, I'm gonna continue to probably
Can I just say, Tommy, can I just say one thing?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just one little small thing. I've always wanted to say this because I remember when you did it on the show. Yeah. Yeah. And now still where we tomorrow.
Oh, man.
I remember when you did that.
Look, they need their weave. When it's become a necessity, it is a problem, and that's why we have to fight against it. And I want you guys to understand this. The reason why we have to fight against it, like Irene said, is because you know it's so prevalent. You don't fight against something because it's easy. You fight against something because it needs to be done.
Tommy, when you did that, you need to cut that and put that on every segment when you're talking about a weave at the beginning and at the end. That is absolutely amazing when you did that.
Well, thank you,
sorry,
brother.
let Irene go.
I tried my best, and I'm glad that you're listening all the way. What time is it over there, by the way?
It's 12:30 at night.
Wow. When I come over there, you gonna come and watch me live?
Of course.
That's what I'm talking about. You make sure.
Of course.
That's what I'm talking about. You make sure your friends buy some tickets as well.
I've been a fan for how many years? Of course. You know what I mean? But
the reason you got so much airtime.
Go on.
Well, I was just saying the reason you got so much airtime is because you did so well. I'm going to let Irene, and I know I've kept her for a long time too. I'm going to let her respond to you, and then I'm going to see if I can sneak in a few more calls. So thank you so much, brother. Love you all the way over across the land. I want you to respond however you want to respond. And it doesn't even have to be directly to what he said, but you guys did so well going back and forth that I just want to see you close it.
Yeah, I just want to say that even in the last time he spoke, what he was speaking about when I was a child and I was watching TV, and this is what I saw on TV. And so I just go back to he's clearly identifying the conditioning and propaganda that he assimilated and able to assess how that affected him as a Black man. And yet he can't quite grasp the idea of no longer engaging in the media. And that is crazy to me. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like the same thing with the weave, right? We can identify the issue, but the steps toward not participating in that behavior is very like the detachment there. I don't quite understand. So I'm not sure if anybody else is quite following me with that, but it's just like, I keep saying, well, then step away from the media. And then he keeps saying, well, on media, I saw this, and on media, I saw that. And it made me think this way, and it made me think that way. And it's an uphill battle because of media. And I'm like, then don't engage. Don't do it. That's the solution.
I'm in 100% agreement with you. Like, eventually we have to say, if we, and I think what you're saying is this, and you tell me if I'm wrong. If you know what the problem is, then now you have a job of changing it. Like, it'd be different if you weren't admitting that you know what the problem is. You're literally saying you know what the problem is. So once you say what is that old Black saying? Once you know better, you do better. Well, you now know better. You know that the media is feeding you crap. Stop engaging with the media. Then take your children. Don't let them engage in the media, or engage in the media less. I hear what he's saying, though. I understood what he was saying when he said, well, because I pointed out there was a time when weave was looked at as a joke. But when that generation died out or got old, the newer generation it was pushed to more often. And I believe what he said about the gay stuff, the gay number is going to keep growing because it's the older generation who had the option. Remember, my generation, I don't know about yours, but my generation had the internet and didn't have the internet. We can live without it. We had it. We didn't have it. Hell, I've seen TVs that weren't color TVs. So I understand. But what about the generation who's never known anything but the internet? That's all they've known. Our children will nut up if the internet go down. I guarantee you, you take our children and the internet go down, they can't get cell phone service, they'll go crazy. They won't understand it. If the dryer broke in the house, our kids will go crazy. But I remember hanging up clothes. So that means I know how to do it. I may not like doing it. If the dishwasher breaks, a lot of people will go nuts. If there was no Uber Eats, they don't know what it's like to go get your own food. They don't know what it's like to drive your own self. So I get what he's saying. The longer things go, the worse they're getting. But that doesn't mean we can't fight against it. And I think that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I'm big on personal accountability. And this is where I have a love-hate relationship with people who come to my channel, because I'm just about personal accountability in every situation. And so to me, my daughters don't go online. If anything is seen in my house, there's no TVs in my home. If I do let them watch something, I watch it first myself. It takes extra work, but I do that. Any books that come into my home, I'm a private censor. I censor everything. I pick their clothes. They have a choice of what I think is appropriate, and then they can pick what is according to their style of what I think is appropriate in all things. So I think that goes back to personal accountability, the choices we're making for ourselves. Tommy, you and I were talking earlier, and I made a comment. You were like, how are you not going to know that? It was about Jordans and da-da-da. And I was like, well, I don't engage on purpose. And you were saying, well, you might want to, so you don't sound contradictory when you're, doing it. And I was like, well, I feel some kind of way, because in a way I don't want to pollute myself. In a way I just want to isolate it, be isolated in my research for things, because I don't want to engulf myself in the culture, because the culture is backward and you can't play in the mud and not get dirty. And so I think
using Blog Talk Radio.
I'm sorry, they got kicked off. All the people who were on the line got kicked off. It closed. I'm sorry about that, guys. Oh. Damn it. But I'm going to open it back up later. I don't know if Irene would want to continue to join. I know she's got a life. I don't have no life. So I can keep on doing this all day. All I got to do is go get me a sandwich and I'll be right back.
We can do it for another hour, maybe.
Okay,
Y'all know I'm moving.
About 30 minutes to go get me something to eat because I haven't eaten anything. I literally got up, I ain't brushed my teeth. I just threw on this shirt. I ain't even got on those shorts. I got on drawers. I'm naked.
Okay, so you said you can start for 30 more minutes?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go get me something to eat. I'm just gonna go get something quick while I'm talking about things that aren't good for you. I'm probably gonna go get me a hamburger and some fries
Okay.
and come back.
Fine.
You know what? I may just get some soup. I may just go in there and make me some quick soup or something. But when you were talking about it, you said you're a private, what'd you call it?
Censor.
Oh, okay. I'm sort of like that. I'm a private dancer, a dancer for money, and pretty much any old musical do. But if there were more parents who took parenting as serious as you, the world would be different. But the sad part is there's so many parents who don't take parenting seriously that even when you send your kids off to school, guess what your kids get bombarded with? The kids who grow up in households where their parents don't monitor what they do.
That's why you got to homeschool people. Like I do. I homeschool. I don't even play those games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need them pressing their weird.
That's where a lot of these parents, even if they're good parents, they're falling short when they send their kids to public school. Public school is all the kids at school got a cell phone. All the kids are, you haven't seen this one where the cat was screwing the dog? Take a look. So now your kid sees it. And then your kid goes back home. And I remember when I was in school, even when they were good parents, the kid would take clothing that they knew their parents didn't want them to wear. And they wanted to feel like the other girls in the school. I mean, who wants to be the only one wearing the Pentecostal long dress down to your legs, down to your ankles when nobody else is doing it? So she then says, I'll just take these clothes, take them to school, wear them because I want to feel a part of something. And I think that's the fight that parenting runs into. You don't want your kids to feel like outcasts because then they act out because they're not. So I like what you said, and that's why I'm a big believer in private and homeschool, and I believe homeschool is number one.
Yeah, I completely agree. Because at the end of the day, you know, we'll all be wearing weave. We'll all be, you know, gay and one of the 300 genders that exist. We'll all be racist and hating each other. And, you know, we'll all think we're always on the cusp of like, you know, a terrorist tearing up the whole, you know, country. If all we do is stare at screens. And so, you know, there just has to be personal accountability. And this weave issue really comes down to that. You know, the young man was right when he was saying it is difficult. But the thing is, nothing worth having, nothing worth achieving is easy. And we're in this, we want quick fixes, quick results, quick everything. Everything has to be super easy. If it doesn't happen instantaneously, it's not something we want to deal with. But that's not reality. And we need to get back to reality because I feel people are very detached from like real life at this point.
Wow. I don't even want to try and top that close because you're right. Everything's easy. You got people who in your comment section is funny. An individual who's been stalking me for years showed up in your comment section because they couldn't get on my show. So they stalk me so much, they try to find out either where I am or where someone's talking bad about me. And then they stalk that. And this person, this rainy day, said, I hope she did a lot of research on Tommy before associating herself with him. Something tells me this isn't going to end up good. This is an individual who spends every day on everybody's videos saying nothing but horrible stuff about me, watching two black people having a discussion along with other black people, and nothing's going wrong. And you interject your crap. And that's what happens to a lot of us in the black community. The outside voices matter more than what's right. If we really are wanting unity, why would you see anybody united and then go and interject your thoughts on the person? There are plenty of people who I don't like and I think are bad people, but other people don't think they're bad people and other people get along with them. Why would I think it's my job to go convince those people who like that person that they shouldn't like that person because I don't? That's the weirdo thing that we run into in today's society. So you have an individual who wears her hair, she loves her hair, and then somebody walks up to her and says what? Why would you wear your hair like that? So now you're trying to convince that person they should not like their natural being because you don't like your natural being. And how many times have you seen women who wear weaves tell a woman who's natural, I mean, I'm proud of you for going natural, but I just couldn't do it. That ain't for me.
Yep. So common. It's so common. We'll impose our self-hate on other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's really wrong with the Black community. Like I'm always saying, we are so comfortable with spitting vitriol at each other because we just hate ourselves so much. When we see a reflection of ourselves in another person, we hate that, and we want to attack that too. And we don't want to see each other getting along. We want to see Black people at odds with each other. We can't be satisfied until there's a beef. And I think that that's very unfortunate. That's what holds our community completely and totally back. We can never build because we just lack the ability right now to get along on a mass scale. It's pretty pathetic, to be honest.
Like, you don't have to agree with everything that everybody says, and you don't agree with everything I say. Probably don't agree with about 40%, maybe 20% of what I say. Maybe you believe. We don't have to hate each other. When we first met each other, I jumped on because I was like, I'm gonna get this trick told. But I like the fact, and even when that guy was saying things, that guy was disagreeing with me when he called. So I let him talk because I was like, because you said it eloquently and you backed it up with facts and good talking points, I would be a horrible person if I wouldn't listen to what you're saying. I'm not here to be somebody's messiah, and I'm not the end all be all of knowledge. I'm learning every day, even when I am saying things. So I better be able to. The best teachers are the best students. You will not be a good teacher if you're a horrible student. You can't be. All you are at that point is what's called a dictator. And a dictator doesn't listen to what's right or wrong, good or bad. A dictator just says, I said it and y'all better go along. And anybody who doesn't, I will destroy you. So they don't rule by logic. They rule by fear. And in America right now, think about what we have. The majority of people out there, they don't rule by logic. They rule by fear. They scare you. So if you don't wear weave, there's a problem. What did that one woman came on my show and said, who wants a basic bitch? She said, that's literally what she said.
Wait, you mean if you don't wear weave, you're basic?
Yep. Weave, makeup, and all that dumb drawing. She said, who wants a basic bitch?
I mean, but who wants somebody that's not comfortable in their own skin? Like, at the end of the day, you want to be able to wash all that off, have your natural hair, and cuddle up to the person you love and feel comfortable. You know what I mean? And know that they see you as you are and are comfortable and are attracted to and want you as a person. You'll always be wondering, like, what if I take the weave out? What is he going to think? I see on YouTube all these videos. He saw me without my weave for the first time, and the women are so tight. They are so tight about the situation. I'm like, you should never be that tight about showing your own hair to somebody. Like, what does that say about you that you've been with a person for that long and you can make a whole damn video the first time he sees my hair? So he hasn't met you yet? Y'all are just going to meet here on YouTube?
And that's what's so funny, because you hear a lot of Black women use this phrase, keep it real, while purposely talking about hiding themselves. So you hate yourself that much that you're hiding yourself. And I can understand if you wanted to hide that you went to jail 10 years ago for something. I can understand you wanted to hide that you got that STD back in 97. They gave you that penicillin. You don't want to talk about that. But I can't understand how you can claim to love being Black and want to hide your Blackness.
Yeah, I think, I think with the weave situation, it's just really important that women realize that it's okay to admit that you made a mistake. I think people hear you talk on this subject and they feel a lot of kind of ways and really negative. But at the end of the day, whether you're liked or not, or whether I'm liked or not, if you realize that the place that you are in, I guess this is my second PSA for the show, that the place that you are in with your weave is that your significant other has not seen you with your natural hair. As soon as you take your weave out, you have to put new weave back in. You are experiencing traction alopecia. You are having breakage. If you're experiencing all that, it's okay to just admit personally, I've made a mistake, and do something different. Do something better. Save your hair while you can. You know what I mean? Before you need surgeries or a wig, because you truly have nothing to recuperate from. Like, everything is gone. You've burnt out your cuticles or your follicles. You've ruined your hair. Before it reaches that point, just turn back and nobody has to know. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to be like, because Tommy Sotomayor said, this, or because, somebody, made me feel bad, or as the man, he called it shaming. That's not shaming. What's shameful and what is indicative of being ashamed is the fact that you want to hide it, that you want to hide your hair. That is shame. Telling you will be beautiful without that, so take it out because it looks foolish when you have it in, is not trying to shame you. It's trying to tell you can uplift yourself by being and exposing yourself, and you can help others by being and exposing yourself. So we sometimes hear things through our own filters, but if your filter is malfunctioning, you may not be hearing the message, So try to clean your filter and then revisit your feelings on the situation.
That's freaking beautiful, because I've never understood the fight to be fake. There's a huge fight to not look black. And that same group of people has a huge fight for black men to like black women. I will always say, if you believe that hair is so beautiful, then why don't I get it from the source? The individual who grows it instead of the individual who has to buy it. That's like if women like large penises. Would you rather be with a man that buys a dildo and uses it on you, or a man that actually has it? The man with the dildo would be an idiot to sit up there and complain that you keep running to the man who actually has it while he refuses to be with you without the dildo. There's a problem. Black women, if you really do care that black men are dating outside of their race, give them the difference and then complain. Don't try to assimilate and then complain that he'd rather have someone that's already there than someone that's trying to assimilate. And lastly, ladies, what would happen if these women of other cultures stopped shaving their hair off and giving it to you? What would you do then? Well, we've already seen it. Women are putting yarn in their heads. They're putting anything in their heads but their hair. Last night, I seen a woman with a whole crochet hairdo. I showed them on the show. They saw it. She went on national TV with a crocheted hairdo.
What?
Yarn. Black women are putting yarn in their hair before they will walk out with their own hair. So what will you do if other cultures stop selling you their hair? That's what's crazy. Hair is free. You're born with it. There is no need for you or anyone else to feel the need to go out and purchase somebody else's hair when you grow it naturally.
Yeah, that's so true. It's crazy that you said she had yarn in her hair. I feel like, there are going to be people who are saying they're women on two extremes. The woman that's paying all the money to go to the shop and doing it right, and then the woman who's literally putting yarn in her hair. Here's the thing. When you look at the two extremes, the base of the extreme should be your pulse point. There's an issue if the pulse point is, I would rather put something that's not even a hair product, or even that plastic hair, because not everybody's using like even human hair. Sometimes it's the plastic stuff. Do you know what I mean? I would rather do that than be seen alone. Or like I said, which I've seen a lot, women who are practically completely bald, but will have like a ponytail. Do you know what I mean? When that is the pulse of it all, then we know that the problem is really bad. And then we're just seeing gradients of that dysfunction. And so we can't point at the least dysfunctional one and be like, okay, that's going to be our pulse. That lady, we're going to ignore all the people to the left of the line. And we're just going to focus on the least, offensive and mildly healthy-minded one in the group. We have to look at the weaker ones, the more disordered ones, make them our pulse, and make our decisions based on that group of people, because that's the group of people we're worrying about, and that's the side of the fence that many Black women are sitting on. My
mom said, I like her. That's your wife.
Oh, that's sweet.
You better stop that. But it's a funny thing. And I rarely can get my mom to watch one of my complete shows because she's like, you cuss too much and you too mean to Black women. And So she doesn't watch. So this is one that she said didn't watch the whole thing, probably because she just got out of the hospital and she's at home in bed too. So I'm very entertaining, Mom. That's why they love your son. And don't worry about the people who hate your son. They're just talking. But I've really enjoyed myself. I gotta go eat because I am famished. I just found out what this word meant yesterday, so I'm gonna try to use it as much as I can. I'm famished. Verbatim. It was a dude last night on the show I did. It was one of the funniest things in the world. They said, do you know what time it was when this happened? He said it was 9:15 verbatim. And so I thought he messed up, but he did it again like 10 more minutes. He thought verbatim meant exactly.
Oh, shut up.
It's hilarious. Y'all, if y'all didn't see the show last night, for those of you who didn't see it, go look at it. It's one of the funniest things in the world. He kept saying, so we spent probably 15 minutes on the show last night saying stupid stuff and then using verbatim at the end of it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So
but he gets an A for trying to use a new word.
Right.
Like, at least he was trying. Y'all can't drag.
I'm gonna tell a lot of y'all brothers out there, I like the fact that you're expanding your vocabulary, but do me a favor, just because you heard somebody say it, don't incorporate it without knowing. We live in the internet age, which is what? The information age. So you have no reason not to know. Just Google it.
Google is your friend. Wow.
So I want to thank you for letting me come on. I don't know if you're going to continue to keep going over on your show to talk to your audience, but I got to go get something to eat. I will hit you up when I get back. And there's a lot of other people who wanted to come on. So I am going to extend the show. And if Miss Irene wants to come and join back and her beautiful audience, as I saw you guys had gotten all the way up to 111 people. Your guys have been very nice to me. And so have my guys been very nice to you. And guys, look, no matter where it is you are on the internet, whether you're the hair person or the joke person, if you're one of the so-called Negroes of the United States and around the world, as you've seen the guy from the UK took time to call. I don't know how much that phone call cost him, but why can't we just get together and have these discussions? We don't have to agree, but have them and be civil. This and a lot of these other things that's been happening, because I used to tell people all the time when I was young, but only old people get the joke. I said, I have the ability to be civil and I have the ability to be civil. Which one you want? I can be civil. Look up the movie and then you'll understand what I mean. Or I can be civil. Why not ask me to be civil? Because we as Black people, we all think we know everything. And the reason we act this way is because typically when we were little, nobody listened to us. We got to stop raising our kids like they're our possessions. Treat them like they're little people who have thoughts and feelings like anybody else, and try to cultivate those thoughts and feelings. Why do you think we're so mean when we grow up? Because when we were little, we were told children should be seen and not heard. Why did you do that, Mama? Because I said so. Let me tell you what I do. Whenever my daughter asks me why, I give her an actual coherent answer because she deserves it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Even in the Bible, God says, don't do this because X, Y, and Z. So that's really true. And it's useful for people to understand. I have a biblical discipline video with my daughter, and you can tell she has an understanding about discipline. And I think that allows your child to be the best person they can be, not because of you or your punishment or what you've told them, but because they comprehend the choices that they're making and the consequences or benefits that come along with them. And I'm so glad that you came on. I appreciate that. And yeah, just hit me up later if you do decide to continue on, and I'll be happy to.
I'm going to continue, but I know you got a life. So I'm going to send you the message. And if you want to come and join on, she can. And all of you guys over here, we're going to answer the phones again and let you guys come on. And I'm probably going to let some people come on visually like Irene as well. So I think we're going to have a good time with this conversation because it's more than one side to this. It really is. And I really want to get into the women who do it and why, and not me just sitting on here and preaching and saying you shouldn't do it. Because like the guy from UK said, well, you're telling someone who's been doing it for so long to stop. And they don't really see a value in what you're saying because they don't see a value in who they are without it. This thing has given them power. You're asking Spider-Man to not use the power he just got.
Kind of.
Mhm.
All right, I'm interested. I'm going to be listening. If I don't come on, I'll be packing and listening to what superpowers they've obtained.
Well,
I need to know.
thank you so much. And before you get off of mine, shout out your social media so they can find you.
Oh, I don't do social media. You can only find me here on YouTube. Yeah, I told you guys I don't like media. So y'all lucky I'm here on YouTube because I barely like YouTube.
It's Irene Yvette, and that's IRENEYVETTE. It's also going to be in the link in the description box on the website and on my channel. Thank you guys. We got up to think about what was it? What was the height over there? It was 2,000 on there. Last night it was weird. Last night we kept hitting 2,600 at like 12 in the morning West Coast time. So I don't know why people were watching me then. Maybe people were just bored. And we competed with, do you understand? We competed with football today. And I'm a big football fan. I didn't watch football. NFL was on all day. We competed with football all day for 4 hours.
That's good. That's good.
That's right. So
Thank
maybe
you, Tommy. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much. I will talk to you later. And guys, I'm going to close it.
All right, you guys. Whew. Okay, let me get comfortable. Hold on. Okay. Now that I'm not talking to Tommy, I can like cross my legs and do some things that I would not normally do. So, yeah, that was pretty cool with Tommy. Interesting discussion. I'm glad you guys all came out. I know I said that I wouldn't have another chat without telling you first, and then I did a live without telling you first. And I'm sorry about that. One day I'm going to tell you guys in advance. I'm going to give you guys, watch it. One day I'm going to shock you and give you like 24, 48 hours, at least an hour notice. Wow, no social media. Yeah, I don't do social media, CRU. I basically hate social media. Thank you, Solo Nation. Lando, I'm glad you enjoyed the show. The Cowboys lost 720 verbatim. I know, that's so cute though. He didn't know what verbatim meant. That's crazy. Okay, y'all. So let me see. I missed so much of the chat, and I'm so sorry about that. You guys know that I have to pack. I need to pack if for nothing else, y'all. Oh, day job bailout plan. Oh, you missed everything. I need to pack because, as you guys know from yesterday, apparently as long as I'm in my house in black, I can't sell it. So if the house can't be sold as long as I'm in it in black, I mean. So what do I talk about on my channel, Robbie Blue? Well, browse through my videos. I talk about anything that my subscribers like. So I tell you guys to always give me show ideas because I try to make videos according to what you guys are interested in. And I do have to research them because y'all know I don't watch TV or anything. You only like Facebook outside of YouTube? I don't like Facebook. I don't like YouTube, y'all. I don't even like YouTube. I just tolerate YouTube so that I can communicate with you guys. But if I could meet you all in the real world, we would all be in a building having a conversation somewhere. Bye, Soto Nation. Yeah, I need to eat too. George Lopez, that's awesome. Oh, global profit sharing. Go to my video from yesterday. Is it me or is this wrong? And you will hear all about why this house cannot be sold as long as I'm in it. CRU, that's good, but don't use the internet as a television, okay? Don't do that because people do. They don't have TVs, but they will sure use the computer just like a TV, and that's no better. Yeah, current events, breastfeeding, politics, really. Oh, yeah, I am all over the place, Santel. That's true. My channel's all over the place. I talk about all kinds of stuff. What is my political ideology? I'm a middle roader. The UK caller made some really good points. You agree with him 100%? Fascinating. You already know what I think. Bye, Lando. I hope you learn how to code very, very well. Okay, you guys. So I'm so sorry. I know the chat is getting bigger and then I'm going to clock out on y'all, but I have to, okay, because I am packing. But I will try to go live. I don't know. Let me ask you guys, how often do you feel I should go live, you guys? Like, what is a good, how many times a week should I go live? Why don't you tell me? And I'm going to look, because I'm looking at the chat on my phone. I'm not looking at it on my computer. But I think the chat is behind me talking. Every day. Four times a day, twice a week, once a week, 4 times a week. It depends on you. We tune in whenever we get the notifications. Okay, that's good to know. Twice a week, you think? 3 times a week? It seems like most people, like the average is basically 3 times a week. I'll try. I will try to commit to a live 3 times a week. It will be pretty fun because I'm going to be traveling across the country pretty soon in about a little bit less than 2 weeks. So we should have some fun lives then because I won't be in the house. And hopefully I'll be able to take you guys with me to my new place and we'll have some interesting lives. So with that said, y'all, I am out of here. I do have to go. I hate to leave you guys, but you know I am a packing beast right now. And so I need to do that. I'm glad to see that the camera and the mic both worked out. And thank you for you guys who helped me test it out earlier today with that live. I appreciate that. I will not be in Dallas with Tommy because I will no longer be in Texas when Tommy comes here. So I was thinking about stopping by in Arizona on my way to where I'm going. All right, so with that, oh, you're rarely free to participate? Okay. All right, I'm out of here, y'all. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Bye.